Hey Exiles, happy Wednesday, happy hump day. I hope you are all doing well. So happy, so grateful to be here right now. I'm a new man. Let's get right into it, everybody. Tonight, we have some interesting things to do. One, we are going to have a chill debate or discussion with Z3r0pointflux about my golden age of Path of Exile 1 video is over. It's time for PoE2. He made a response video. I watched it and I said, you know what? Instead of, debating in the comments or anything like that, let's just get him on the pod. Let's discuss it because that was the exact goal of that video. And of course, there's been a lot of discourse and debate about that video now in the community. Definitely things that I could have changed, the way I packaged the video, all that. But what is done is done. Yesterday does not rule me. Today is a new day. Well, 1 week later is a new day from the day I released it. So we moving on. New man, like I said. Guys, my daughter has now slept through the night 6 days in a row. And has put herself to bed 6 days in a row. Any parents out there, I don't care if you're 60 years old. I don't care if you just have a newborn. You know the feeling. When your kid sleeps through the night, it is just such a blessing. And I feel so blessed right now that not only 1 day, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days, guys, we're starting to form a little bit of a habit here. And I seriously just have a newfound energy for everything. So I know that I was like, oh, I'm not going to, treat this very seriously. But guys, I have like 5 video scripts ready to go for my Path of Exile to Quit Moment series. I have another feedback video. I have a year in review. Oh my goodness. My wife and I have been reading the Bible. I also, and this may contribute to my new demeanor, everybody, I have a little bit of a new demeanor about me. Okay? Because I recently learned about Stoicism, and I ordered Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. And it comes tomorrow, and I'm going to begin reading that. So, yeah, I'm a new man. I'm a new man. So tonight, we're chatting with Z3r0pointflux in about 25 minutes. We're going to play some Second Wind. Oh my goodness, guys. The league is just... It's definitely losing players. Like, there's obviously the new Path of Exile 1 Legacy of Phreesia event that's happening next week, and people are moving on from PoE2. But I think I'm almost finished with my Smith of Kitava Wolf. I'm going to down the Arbiter. We're going to play a little bit of that tonight. I'll showcase my character there, where we are in the end game. I also have something crazy to show you guys. Okay, so a casual guy in my friend group, okay? He's not actually my direct friend. He's a coworker and friend of one of my close friends. And we all have a Discord together. And we post crap, guys. Look at this. Look at what happened. I will tell the story right here, right now, and then I'll get into the chat. Guys, sorry for flashbang. Dude, casual player, okay? He hasn't played much this league. He needed help with his 4th ascendancy. So my close friend, runs the Trial of Chaos with him. And he drops an Adorned. And he sells it unidentified. This is how insane the inflation is in the core 0.4. Like, he sells the unidentified Adorned for 3,300 divine orbs like 2 days ago. Or 3 days ago. And then he says, you know what? Because these are smart people, my friends, much smarter than I am. I have much to improve when it comes to intelligence. They're very smart. The guy's like, you know what? I could just buy the keys. I could just buy like 10 keys and, maybe I'll get another. I mean, it's totally worth it. I have 3,300 div. It's like 20 div per try or something. So he buys 4 sets of keys to run Trial of Chaos, the Trial Master. 1, 2, 3. He drops an Adorned again on the 3rd try. And he sells it for 1,000 divine orbs more. He sells it for 4,300 divine orbs. He can buy a mirror and a half now, right? The dude is level 88. He's level 88. He is a casual. He is excited, overwhelmed, confused. He is so much wealth. He just donated 1,200 div to one of my friends, the friend that was helping him run the Trial of Chaos. And the guy's like, oh, I'm going to gamble all this away. It's crazy. Yeah, he got an adorned from the Trial of Chaos. Yeah. All right, what's going on, guys? I'm getting to the chat now. Hey, what's happening, SW Shinigami? Hey, TJ Fosk. What is up, my brother in exile? Like I said, life is great. Life is absolutely great. I'm doing well. Hey, Lime Dem. Hey, the real Jinwoo. Prince of Persia. What's happening, man? Hey, Doc Mike. You're delving PoE1. Are you getting ready for Freesia? I don't think I'm going to play Freesia. I don't think I'm going to play Freesia. I think after I finish out my Smith of Kitava, I'm going to play the hardcore Timmy League. And then I will actually use my free time to, you know, create some videos and play some other games. It'd be fun. Oh, Sir Kane, I appreciate you killed it with that video. I appreciate it. I think that my opinion is very strong. My argument is very strong, but my packaging was poor for my goal. And that was me being that naive. That was a mistake on my part. That is feedback that I have heard loud and clear. And I cannot control what happened, what the reaction was, what people said about. I can control what I do in the future. And I know what I'm going to do in the future. And that is focus on what I can do better and focus on the game. That's what I can do. So good. Oh, Suna. Suna, what's happening, my man? It's been a while. How you doing, man? Can you spill any secrets? Can you spill any secrets about 0.5? What is happening in 0.5? I hear there's some endgame reworks, Suna. You've heard that book is good? Yeah, it was written 1900 years ago. In like 170 AD. It's not even a book. It's the journal of one of the greatest Roman emperors to ever exist. And he thought it would never be published, never thought it would be seen by the public eye. And the dude just dishes wisdom that is applicable to the modern day in it. It is... I've only read excerpts, and I said, screw it. Stop reading excerpts. Order the book. Read it from start to finish. So it comes tomorrow. I'm very excited. Best kid parent milestones: birth, sleeping, potty training, school. Dude, yes. Meditations is goated. Heck yeah. Dude, I'm disappointed. I thought you were going to say you started smoking cigarettes and being negative. Bro, no. No, I want self-improvement. I want to make myself better, my man. Are we supposed to see chat on screen like normal, seeing what I assume is the overlay with nothing on it? I have the messages disappearing after 30 seconds now. So the messages disappear after... Yeah, see, they disappear about after 30 seconds. Hey, Automana, what's happening? Zero's a cool dude. Yeah, he has a podcast. Okay, so here's the story of what happened. I was not subbed to him or anything. YouTube just fed it to me, showed it on my homepage. When I logged on to YouTube, I was like, oh, somebody responded. Cool. I clicked on the video. I listened to it. I think we're going to agree quite a bit, and I think we have some areas of disagreement. So I left a comment going through, and I was talking about, oh, I disagree here, I disagree here. Oh, you know what? But whatever. How about we just talk? How about we talk about it? And I said in the comments, like, dude, reach out to me. Here's my Discord. Let's do it. And we set it up. Yeah, he seems like a pretty chill dude. Pretty cool dude. And I like talking with people I disagree with. So it should be a good one. Should be good. Don't really care about free show, waiting for March, but I am economically priced out of PoE2 trade. Doc Mike, my man, all you gotta do is run a Trial of Chaos and drop an Adorned. Ba-bam! No, people being purposefully obtuse. Ziggy D has outright said he thinks PoE1 will be put in maintenance after PoE... When did he say that? Put in maintenance after PoE2 1.0. I did not see people going after him that way. Yeah, I think it was mostly the packaging. I stand by the fact that my opinion is pretty nuanced, and I just packaged it in the wrong way. And it's funny because I chose I thought the most, not lighthearted. From my perspective, it was one of the like more like this is my opinion, right? That I think Golden Age is over, blah blah blah. So, not the should PoE2 kill PoE1. I think that was one of the other titles that was going out there for a little bit, but Fine, we'll chat about it a little bit. I don't really want to even tackle that subject anymore because people just get very heated about it, and that isn't even my goal. You know, I don't want to pit people against each other, and I think that can happen very, very easily. Sir Ken, you left an awesome comment on the podcast I do with Sir Gog, Dreamcore, and Localhole, essentially saying, as I think one of us, it might even been me, I can't remember, saying, you know, okay, well, the perception is reality, and the perception is that the entire economy is destroyed, the league is destroyed. But I remember, I think maybe I was saying that's not true. The reality is, you know, you just either you farm the temple for div with its optimal setup, or you do all this other stuff, and you can participate in the league economy, but you do have to do, you know, other content besides the temple, unless you're doing it optimally. And that it's very important to push against that narrative. That perception isn't reality, reality is reality. I like that. I really like that. So I wanna figure out I wanna figure out the right way to discuss that, you know, especially with this game, because tensions do get high. People are very passionate about it, so it is a difficult topic to discuss. But I'll find a way. I'm really trying to improve myself. Spoilers, but I think 0.5 is a future content update for Path. You got me, Suna. You had me in the first few words. Future content update for Path of Exile 2, a next generation ARPG in development by Grinding Your Games. Look at you. You are perfect, Suna. That is exactly the answer that I wanted to hear. You can't wait for free shot? Yeah, Marcus Aurelius. The meditations were partly made up. I have no idea about the whole history. If they're dishing modern day wisdom from the past, I don't like the Bible. I'm sure there are a lot of tall tales in the Bible, right? I think a lot of it still applies to the modern day, at least what I've read so far. He said that during his interview with Blazeworks. Oh, okay. I remember I saw like a few clips of it. I watched bits and pieces. I remember there was a mode where it's like, oh, small team working on PoE1 right now. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully they do more, because just bringing it out a temple is not a lot of endgame chat. No, dude, they're not just going to do the temple. 0.5 is going to have more than just the temple, 100%. Now, what is that going to be? We will just have to find out in, I don't know. I think it's going to be April. I think one of my mods, member of the community, friend Omega Cybers, was saying, oh, I think it might be May. I can't see it being May. Although what happens, happens. It's all right. I'll be here. I'll be here to play and cover it. Hey, what's going on, Blue Saw? Yes, it is Tank Try tonight. I literally pulled in the driveway at 7:29 p.m. And I started my stream at 7:31 p.m. We came straight from the gym. So I'm getting big, guys. I'm getting big. I'm benching. I'm doing 3 sets of between 8 and 10 reps of the most weight I've ever benched before. And I'm steadily increasing. I'm very happy. This chest next year, guys. Oh my gosh. I'll need a new tank top. I think as well people didn't really understand what Golden Age means contextually. I think Golden Age can pass, and yet that thing can last for decades after. Say The Simpsons or comics. Exactly. Definitions, very important. Here's what I meant by Golden Age, and Z3r0 and I are going to talk about this and see if we can come to an agreement. A Golden Age, in my opinion, is a height of something's... Okay, so we're talking about a game here. So peak of player happiness, height of prosperity in terms of the development of it, the height of innovation from the developers, okay? And I think those are the core 3. And then there's also the fact that it's like the undisputed king of its genre or class. And I think Path of Exile 1 was that for a very long time. And it is nowhere near too bad dying on its way out. The game... We're going to talk about this. I have, as part of this discussion, I have problems with PoE2. We're going to talk. He's going to give his problems. I'm going to give my problems. We're going to discuss them. And then we also have problems with PoE1. Spoilers. Honestly, guys, I could only think of like one thing actually wrong fundamentally with PoE1 right now. And it's not even like a gameplay thing. Now, maybe I don't play it enough. I did only play like 40 hours last league. So, you know, I am casual. I don't know. But legitimately, I think that game, my entire argument in that video, it boils down to PoE1 is so good, the devs do not need to put nearly as much effort into it as PoE2 now and in the future. And then in the future, I think that, you know, PoE2 will demand more effort from the devs. I watched parts, the first 30 minutes of the Mr. Llama SC and Chris Wilson video, and they kind of touch on this. It was very fascinating. Kind of talking about how Diablo 2 is a game that received relatively few updates and people still play it forever, right? And Path of Exile 1 is the opposite. It receives constant updates, big sweeping changes and everything. And I thought that was a really fascinating discussion. And I think Path of Exile 1 can live in not a purely Diablo 2-esque state where it's not getting any updates, but where it's getting, you know, fewer content updates, but each one's quite meaningful. And I think the Legacy of Freesia really kind of cemented my argument. The Legacy of Freesia event. Did you see how happy everybody was that they're doing this event? Yes, it's going to have some balance changes. It's going to have few, but GGG with PoE1, because it's such a good game. It has such a great foundation. It has so much content packed into it with a few changes to the game. People will eat that up. They will love it, and it will be good. Legacy of Freesia is just doing that with the Ascendancies. You know, 3.28, 3.27 with Foulborn Uniques, right? Foulborn Uniques is just, you know, being very clever with design, and people loved Foulborn Uniques. Dreamcore, my friend, he loved what they did with Foulborns. It enabled so many different builds, and that's what people, I think, really love about PoE1. And I think they can do that infinitely, cleverly, with far less dev resources. I'm gonna need a new tank. Yeah. Golden Era being dead is just a base take. That's what's tilting people. Yeah, you know, like I said, I think just my packaging was a little off. Typically, a golden age refers to an idyllic past, the height of a thing, essentially. Real or imagined, right. One of the metaphors that I considered using, you know, was, this is all opinion, right? This is my opinion. This is very opinionated, right? I'm not focusing on anybody else. I'm focusing on what I think. If it would, it's not like saying the golden age of Rome is over, right? That's factual. Rome's golden age is done, guys. Rome is dead, all right? It would be more akin, and here we go, let's not get political, but it would be more akin to someone saying the golden age of the United States is over, right? Now that's something that you can debate, you can discuss. There are people that are very pro that. There are people very anti that. There are people that would be saying, you know, it's living through its golden age right now, right? That's the discussion I kind of wanted to foster, and it accomplished the opposite. So, yeah. I like my PoE2 Quit Moment series. That's what I'm going to focus on. I got a lot of cool videos, a lot of cool feedback videos, and I like the little snappy editing style. It was very different. Plus, I have a mega essay. 2 mega essays in progress. 1, Path of Exile 2 will never be a Souls-like. Oh. And then a year in review. After playing PoE1 for almost 13 years, I know it by heart. It's still my favorite game, but I really wish for a league akin to the Val Temple to add some new content in PoE1 to explore. Like a really deep, something deep to really sink your teeth into. What was I even saying? Yeah, that's the thing. It really had, I think, personally, golden age of PoE1, subjectively, subjectively, 3.13, which is Echoes of the Atlas. That's the Maven patch. I think it's like January 2021, to Sentinel 3.18, which I think is like May 2022 or something. Golden age, my golden age for PoE1. You had so much content being introduced, kept in the game, innovative systems, the Atlas tree coming in, The Maven's Crucible with the multi-boss fights. You got, not the Arbiter of Ash, my goodness. The Searing Monarch, the Eater of Worlds, the Maven herself. The Maven's my favorite boss fight in all of Path of Exile. So, I'm a little biased there. But I think that was the golden age. Bloodlines also have insane potential. Best regards, you are a Tomler person. So greetings from Germany. I do not know what a Tomler person is. Bro, first time catching a stream. Come from your potties. Oh, thanks, Soggy Moggy. Welcome in, my man. We're going to have a podcast here in a little bit. A little different style of podcast, I think, with Z3r0pointflux. About my Golden Age of PoE video. And kind of chat just about, you know, the future of both games. We're going to keep it really chill. We're going to keep it really chill, guys. You don't need to back down. Rome's Golden Age was also over far before the Empire collapsed. Also true. Also true. Gotta be pretty sheltered if you think that's a close debate. What? Which one? The American one? I think a lot of people debate that, bro. Another point to make is that while a Golden Age might be in the past, there's nothing to say there can't be a Renaissance. Don't spoil my argument, Suna. Don't spoil my argument. No, 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 no. Yes, 100% true. And we'll talk about it, but I think Z3r0 brought up a really great point. He didn't say Renaissance, but he essentially said there's nothing. Arguably, one of the best things for Path of Exile 1 is Path of Exile 2. Lots of people try PoE2 and then they go to PoE1 and they love that game. They like that game better. There are people that exist like that. I talked in my video about people anecdotally who tried PoE1, didn't like it, and they play PoE2, they love it for a variety of reasons. WASD, just like the graphics better, the animations better, they think it's simpler, right? All these different things. But there's also on the opposite end, lots of people who play PoE2 go to PoE1 because they like PoE2, and then they end up liking PoE1 better. And there could be a renaissance, especially after, like, you know, PoE2 is shipped. The only thing that is a little scary there, will PoE2 become too much like PoE1? I think that's the big fear. Honestly. I think that's the big fear. And honestly, guys, I mean, PoE2 pretty PoE1. So if PoE2 just becomes a better PoE1 in 3 years' time, I don't know. Because what? Like Diablo 2, Diablo 3. No, let's not get into that. I didn't play enough Diablo 2. I can't talk about that. Guild Wars 2, Guild Wars 1. How about that? I did play those games. Okay, Guild Wars 2, very different from Guild Wars 1. Okay? Let's imagine that ArenaNet kept developing Guild Wars 1. I think that would have had a very faithful audience of Guild Wars 1 players. They would have loved it. They would have kept playing. In addition to, you know, people who love Guild Wars 2. Instead, obviously, ArenaNet sunsetted Guild Wars 1 almost right when Guild Wars 2 released. And it wasn't because the games were too similar. It was just because they didn't deem it worthy to continue development for and all that. I do not wish that to be the future of PoE at all. At all. I didn't kill anything, Jason. Whoa. Let's chill. Let's chill. Agree, couldn't do PoE. Time for PoE2 Golden Age. I think the Golden Age of PoE2 is a long way off. Game has to come out. Once it has all of its classes, you know, all the balance in a far better spot, the campaign. I reckon it'll be in a few years' time for the Golden Age of PoE2. Probably. As a huge Guild Wars 1 and Guild Wars 2 player, these games had different audiences. 100%. They are such different games, dude. Such different games. And ArenaNet, literally, they did kill Guild Wars 1. Like, they didn't kill, they stopped making content for it. My favorite YouTuber, Wooden Potatoes. Okay? Dude has a huge Guild Wars 1 Let's Play, plays Guild Wars 2, still goes back to Guild Wars 1 constantly to do, you know, runs and stuff. But they, you know, he yearned for them to continue making campaigns. I think he has a video breaking it down, like what they could have done, and talking about Utopia, which was the forgotten Guild Wars 1 expansion that died for Guild Wars 2, all that stuff. It is a lofty ambition for this to happen, for any studio to do this. And you know what? If any studio can do it, I think it's Grinding Gear Games. I am the GGG lover after all. And that is what I thought the hopeful tone of the video was, but upon re-listening to it, I think my tone was not as hopeful as I wanted it to come across. So, oops. Well, we've been yapping for freaking 28 minutes, so we'll do a little bit of Wolf showcase after we talk to Z3r0 for about an hour. I still think there's going to be a D1 Resurrected after PoE2. You think they're going to release Diablo 1 Resurrected? That been hinted at? I've never played WoW. Never born lucky. My Guild Wars 1 was so excited for Guild Wars 2, but about a week into Guild Wars 2, all but 3 quit and never came back. Such a different game, man. Such a different game. I did play Guild Wars 2 way more than Guild Wars 1. But I understand that those games were very different. That's like making the jump from like Path of Exile 1 to like No Rest for the Wicked. I think it was that different, right? Like that big of a genre swap. Oh, you meant PoE1 Resurrected? Yeah, Doc Mike, you were the one that wrote the awesome idea, right? The PoE1 Resurrected, where it's like, you know, updating everything and the new graphical engine, the PoE1 campaign. Yeah, I thought that was a great idea. I liked it. Alrighty. We are going to get Z3r0 in here. Dun, 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 dun. All right, I have my questions and topics right in front of me. All right, guys, you ready? Ready to chat a little bit about the future of PoE? Should be a good one. Turning off the music, getting this in here. Still sane, pod, ready to go. All right, let's get virtual camera so he can see me. All right, the jumping puzzles alone in Guild Wars 2 broke my guildmates. Dude, I love the jumping puzzles in Guild Wars 2. Guild Wars 2 didn't have any, Guild Wars 1 had no jumping, right? Now they were playing Mario Bros, comparatively speaking. Yeah. All right. Z3r0. Don't, oh my gosh. If I called Z3r0 because of the, it's the zero in the, never mind. What is the goal in PoE? To become super strong and kill monsters. At least that's my goal. All right. I'm going to call him. Here we go. Video call. Popping out right here. Get him over. Hey, man.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
I'm doing well. Okay, I'm going to say immediately, because I'm always bad with this, Z3r0. I think you're using your webcam mic in Discord. I think.
No, I shouldn't be. No.
I just want to call out because you sound crisp in your video. You sound way crisper in your video. So I just want to make sure, because I like failed with Palsteron and Snoove, like they use the webcam and I feel bad. So I like,
let me double check, because my webcam mic is disabled. So
it's disabled? Okay.
I don't think it's possible.
I had to double check.
Let me double check though. I don't know. Maybe it turned on. Hold on.
Okay. No, you're good, man. I just have to say, I don't want to screw the audio up or anything. Sorry.
I did that with Baron. I did the same thing with Buffalo Baron.
Oh yeah.
Same exact. It happens, man. It's no big deal. Okay. So my audio sounds bad right now, is what you're saying?
I think it sounds just a little echoey. Chat, am I crazy? You just sound crisper in your video. In your videos.
No, I got you. It is. Hold on.
It is?
Yeah.
Ah, thank goodness, bro. Okay, we good.
Okay. So does that sound better?
Perfect. Okay. You're good now. Yep.
Wow. That means I've been doing it the whole time through my webcam mic.
Really?
But I was able to fix it in post in Premiere. That's really weird.
Oh, really?
That's crazy. Yeah, that's wild.
Oh, gosh. Okay, I have not listened to your podcast yet. I just listened to a few of your videos, so maybe that's why. Because so in Discord it had the wrong mic selected. Dude, isn't that crazy that it does that?
That's really weird.
Yeah. You sound great now. Very crisp.
Okay, cool.
Sick.
Awesome.
How you doing tonight, man?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I am well. We were cutting it close because it snowed here like really bad. So we were at the gym and it took way longer than we thought to get home. So I literally pulled in the driveway like 1 minute before stream start and I rushed up the stairs, sat down, got right in the chair right as I was supposed to go live. So
what state are you in?
I am in the Midwest. I'm not giving away my state, but we are getting a crazy snowstorm, and it has been.
That's why I was asking.
Yeah,
that's why I was asking.
It has
been.
Said
it's like the trees are gonna blow up and all that stuff. You see that?
Yes, I did see that. I don't know I saw some thumbnails on YouTube, and I'm like, what? Oh my gosh, that's crazy. I didn't have time to watch like the videos though, but yeah, like the trees are gonna blow up. There's like a solar burst or something happening. I don't know.
Well, we got hit with one of the worst solar storms that we've seen in a very long time, apparently. And we've been like this, the way that the solar cycle works.
Yeah.
There's like a solar maximum. We're in the solar maximum right now. So we've been getting bombarded. You can see the auroras here in Southern California sometimes.
Oh, wow.
It's pretty wild. Yeah.
It's
not supposed to happen.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's super cool. My gosh, I wish I could. You can, in parts of my state, you can see the auroras, the aurora borealis, which is super cool. Not where I live, far away, but yeah, right now, unfortunately, none of that cool stuff. We're just gonna have a crazy snowstorm, and apparently, we're supposed to get, I think, like 7 inches tonight, and another 12 to 16 over the next 3 days.
Be careful, man, because they said it's going to be pretty bad out there. So
it's also supposed to be negative 25 Fahrenheit on Friday.
Yes.
So yeah,
pretty wild.
I think that I'm very thankful that we have heating and all that stuff. So I just need to make sure after this, Z3r0, I need to shovel. Okay, I need to not forget because I didn't shovel today. We've been going, so it's already building up, and I can't let it build up anymore the next few days.
Yeah. I know how that is, man. I used to live in the snow, so I get it.
Yeah. Why did you why'd you move out? Did you just not was it weather based? Was it job based? Because
I grew up in Southern California, and that's where I'm at now.
Okay.
But I moved to Colorado, and it was just for work. But I love it out there, man. Out here, I get kind of burned out. Plus, it's so expensive to live out here. It's, people are pretty much, unless you're making like really, really good money, you're pretty much just priced out of everything. And it's pretty rough out here as far as just for average people to just, make a normal living. Like you need to make 6 figures out here. Otherwise you're really not going to make it on your own,
Yeah. I have some college friends that moved out there to work for like Boeing and stuff.
Yeah.
And they were like so happy, and they're from my state, and they were so happy with their salaries and everything, man. And they start looking at like not even the house prices, not the condo prices, but apartment prices. And it's 3x a mortgage here, which is crazy for an apartment. So yeah, I feel you. I totally feel you. Are you gonna do you think you're gonna leave someday, or can you pick up and move, or?
Not really. I mean, I'm pretty tied down right here. But the good thing about it is that I work for myself, and the potential in that is a lot. So I should be okay. As far as how much I make. Eventually, though, I'm gonna want to start hiring people, and that's the thing, is hiring people out here is so expensive. It's so expensive to hire people.
Right.
So this is not a small business friendly place. So hopefully that changes though at some point.
100%.
Yeah.
Let me 1 sec. I just have to grab this thing really quick over here. Okay. We good. All right. I forgot to ask chat. I think I was looking at your little levels there, and it looks like your voice is good to go. Chat, does the volume sound good? His mic sounds great now. Dude, you can't. I'm so happy that I caught that because I've let it slip like 3 or 4 times.
That's wild. I'm glad you caught that too, man. That's crazy. That must have been on because normally I'm the one that calls, and I wonder if that makes a difference.
Maybe it does. It might.
This is the first time me picking up a video call and doing a podcast, so I don't know if that changes the settings, like outgoing or not. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it totally might. That might be it. So. Okay, sounds great. Slightly louder. Okay, well, I can adjust your audio. I'll increase about like 10% on Discord. Should be good. You're like right at the cusp of yellow. I think we're set, man. Okay, yeah,
cool.
I'm glad both days are relatively good, and we're here at the no texting now. Bad, no texting. Here at the end of the day. So, and before we get into it, I'll do like the official like video intro in a second. But
Yeah, you're good, man.
yeah, I just really appreciate how you opened your video. That was very kind of you to like, say, respect the opinion, want to disagree and lay out my opinion.
Right.
Like that is exactly what I sought with the video. And I feel like I failed in that regard because a lot of people did get upset. And there's only so many things I can control. And I think I wrongfully controlled like the packaging and all that and my intonation. I feel like my message got lost in the sauce.
No, I don't.
That's why I like
say something about that.
Yeah.
I don't think that it did at all. I think that it's just such a contentious topic that it's so polarizing to even say that no matter how you would have packaged it, people were going to react one way or the other. I just feel really strongly about it. So I wanted to put out a video and not saying like, oh, I'm going to take a shot at you or something. I didn't want to put it out like that, but I wanted to say, look, I respect the guy, but I respectfully disagree with that
100%.
opinion.
Let's go. That's the way to do it. That's what I do. And my mind, honestly, is open to change. And I think I messaged you a few days ago. I don't remember at this point, but I'm like, I'm pretty sure we're going to agree on a lot of this, bro. I think we're like in agreement on a lot of things. And I think it'll be a good discussion. So I sent you like the topics we're going to go through. I have them up right here. We'll just go sequentially. And it might be a little different than like the usual podcast. It's not as interviewing. I might talk a little bit more and like kind of, we can like get each other's thoughts and kind of debate a little bit, but should be good, man. Should be good.
It's your house, bro. I'm just passing through.
Oh, 100%. Well,
you do what you want.
I'm glad you're here, dude. I'm glad you're here. All right. Audio's good. Everybody says the audio is perfect and crisp. Let's go. All right, I'll do a little intro. All right. 3, 2, 1. Hey, Exiles. Welcome to another episode of the Still Sane podcast. Today is a special one. I have Z3r0pointflux here to talk about the future of Path of Exile. Usually these podcasts are very interview heavy, learning about opinions on the current patch, learning about the history of the creators I talk to here. This one is going to be a little bit more of a discussion style. You see, a few days ago, released a video on the golden age of PoE1 being over, in my opinion. Z3r0 made a great response video where he disagreed with me. Thought we could get him on, we could chat about it, see where we agree, see where we disagree, and see if we can, have a productive discussion here about games, at least one game I know we both really love, which is Path of Exile 1. So Z3r0, just before we get into all this, I wanted to give you a chance to introduce yourself to the audience, maybe talk about when you started playing PoE1 and what your journey has been through that, man.
Sure. Yeah. So I started PoE1 kind of late, actually. I started in Trials of the Ancestors, so I'm way after you. Yeah. So I was a Diablo 4 refugee. So I played Diablo 4 and the redundancy of that game I was looking for something different. I knew about Path of Exile 1, but I don't know why I never played it, to be honest with you. I don't really have a good answer for that. But I started playing it in Trials, and I tried to make my own build because I'm super stubborn. And I ran my head against the wall. And I think I made it halfway through the campaign. And I just gave up because I was just failing, right? And so I came back in Affliction League, and I followed a build guide. And I just immediately got hooked on it. But the problem is being a new player and watching content creators try to teach you the game. A lot of people talk way over your head, especially in Path of Exile. So I decided to make content that was easily digestible to the new player from a new person's perspective. So that's what started my content creation journey. Was I was watching videos on how to craft things, and they would say things like YOLO a null or Exalt Slam or spam this. And I was like, okay, I kind of get what that means. Like, I understand like the vernacular a little bit, but it's confusing to new players. And so I started making a crafting series on my channel where I walk people through the very, very basics of crafting, but I explain why we're taking the steps that we take in the videos. So when I say like, all right, we're going to craft this meta mod on, I bring up, Craft of Exile. I show why we're doing that. To block certain, you want to do this so that these won't roll on here. And then you want to, like, if we're using a veiled orb, Back then it was a veiled orb, but when we're using a veiled orb, we want to craft this on there so that these modifiers won't open up when we unveil the modifier. So like, just to give an example, but yeah, that's what pretty much started me on my journey. But I've been hooked ever since I started really playing.
Yeah, okay. So D4 refugee turned into a teacher. Dude, I'm upset that YouTube has not shown me your videos sooner because that sounds right up my alley. Because even though I played a long time and I understand, like you said, the vernacular that people are talking about, still it's like all the different steps, it's still confusing and stuff goes past me. So I love learning. And that's one of the big things that I love about PoE and why I kept returning to it patch after patch is because every single time, not even new content that was added, I'd learn about the old content. It was like every time I logged in, you'd learn something new. So it really does grasp you like that, especially if you're looking for a game that has depth. PoE1 has that in absolute spades. So, wow. Okay. So trials. You bounced in the campaign. It just was like
I didn't get to endgame. I kept dying, and I don't like dying. It frustrates me, and so. But I'm too stubborn, so I will run my head against the wall until it gets real painful, and then I'll seek outside help. That's how it is in real life too. I'm just really stubborn, you know.
Yeah.
But I finally, you know who Z3r0 is?
Yes, I do. Yep.
Yeah.
I've seen
So
videos.
he does a thing every league where he walks you through his character progression act by act. And so I followed him and I did an ice shot dead eye, and I was using a Zenith's Wrath. I think that's what the helmet's called, the one that triggers a bow skill.
Okay.
And so I was using that with Lightning Warp and Hydrosphere, and I was just zooming around the map and just destroying everything. And I like that a lot.
Okay.
It was really fun and very addicting.
100%.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
It's similar. It's a little, so my journey in PoE1 started in 3.8. So I started in Blight. So 2019, I literally started the day before the first Exile con, right? And I pushed through. I somehow made it through the campaign. But dude, it took me probably like 50 hours. I was dying a lot.
Yeah.
I was stubborn as all heck. And then the next league, Conquerors of the Atlas, Metamorph, follow the build guide, same experience as you. Like I loved zooming. I was blasting bosses. You know, it was a Toxic Rain Trickster, I believe is what. No, Toxic Rain Pathfinder is what it. Dude, and I just fell in love after that. Every single league blasting like 36, 40 challenges, playing for like 50 hours in 2.5, 3 weeks, burning out, and then coming back 3 months, like just repeating the cycle. So, curious now, swapping gears just briefly before we get into more of the discussion. Thoughts on PoE2 so far, your PoE2 experience? Because I looked through your channel catalog. I know you have played it a lot. You know, you made some builds in it, some updated it. What have been your thoughts after about a year of early access? Just high level general thoughts.
So I have about 1,000 hours in the game right now.
Whoa.
And I like it. I like the game. It looks beautiful. The animations are really, really cool. The combat feels really, really good. Like once you get a skill that works well. But I just have hangups. I guess that's the best way to put it. As far as the fundamentals of the game, it feels like a lot of the decisions that the developers made were to change something just for the sake of changing it, if that makes sense. So for instance, I'll give you an example. The charm system, right? If you look at the old reveals for Path of Exile 2, they showed the flask system. And you were able to hit a Quicksilver flask. You were able to zoom in and out of combat. And now when I see that, I understand how they came up with the combo thing. Because if you're moving fast like that, combos are easy to set up. You can go in, set up your combo, bounce out, and then come in and finish it. But it just feels like a lot of the game was built around that flask system being there. And then all of a sudden they just changed it, but for no reason. And they changed it to something worse, in my opinion. So the charm system in the game, it feels bad. I don't know if you get the feeling of that. I never really know when they're active. You kind of just put them in. It's just like a set and forget kind of thing. And I never even really noticed that they have an effect. So I just didn't understand why that was changed. And that's just one example. I mean, I could think of a couple more off the top of my head, but it just seems like they just wanted it to be different than Path of Exile 1. And that, to me, that's strange, because if something's working really well in one game, you would probably want to carry it over and kind of reiterate on it instead of just changing it completely.
Right. No, I partially agree on the Flask Charm system, and on the changing things just to change them. I completely agree with you. However, I think they had a clear reason to do that. And my mind instantly goes back to, it's going to be funny because this is back when PoE2 was supposed to be in PoE1. It goes back to Chris Wilson at ExileCon 2019. And he's talking to Quinn69. All right. Quinn scores an interview with Chris.
I saw the interview.
You've seen the interview?
Yeah,
okay.
I've seen it.
They're sitting on the couch, and Quinn, you know, they talk about the well and refilling flasks in a well. And Chris is like, you know, in PoE1, we just decided that it was going to be this way, that when you come back to town, you instantly refill all your flasks. And we couldn't revert that because it hurt players would not like it. You know, it's like a quality of life. We're not going to make an NPC do it. We're not going to do that, right? If we were to do a new game, 100% we would do that, but it would have to be like a different game and all that stuff, right? And I feel like that is PoE2 in essence. Like they are making all the changes that they want to test out, that they wanted to make in PoE1 after making, you know, whether it was decisions that they long debated or, you know, made very quickly and then they couldn't revert. And they're trying them all out in PoE2. And I think in a lot of cases, they are discovering that they already discovered that PoE1 is doing it better. And they're reverting. And you're kind of seeing this with a lot of the changes. So I do think that is occurring. I think it's experimentation, though. And I do think that they, in places, are reverting to where, you know, PoE1 is superior. And then in other areas, they're like, no, we're going to push this. We're going to try something different. We're going to try something different. At least that's my opinion. We'll see how that pans out. Obviously, it's in early access, even though it's not getting, you know, updates every week, every 2 weeks, like PoE1 was in beta. It's every 4 months. It's basically a released game. They're not treating it like that. We can talk about, we definitely agree about that. When you were talking about that in your response, I was like, based, yes. Yeah. It's unfortunate, but all right. So quickly, before we get into, you know, talking about the golden age of PoE and all that, one more thing to lay the foundation, Zero. Sure. I want both of us to say, why do you play Path of Exile? Like, what is the goal to you? What is fun to you as a player? You go first, and I'll also lay out what I think is fun.
So I enjoy, just in life in general, I enjoy things that are very challenging, and like I enjoy things that are like puzzles. So I enjoy chess, I enjoy Sudoku, I enjoy things like that. I'm a big physics nerd. I like astronomy. I like things where it's almost like there's like an endless amount of stuff to learn. And I feel like PoE is exactly like that, except it's in a video game. So it's just like when I was on the podcast, I did a podcast with Rax a couple weeks ago. And I used the metaphor. It's like having a toy box, but there's no bottom to the toy box. You just keep pulling toys out and it just keeps going, like when you're a kid. And so that's what this game feels like to me. I was just looking right now, before we got on the podcast, I was just trying to put together a random build. I was looking at Bane, the Bane skill, the transfigured version of it, how you can just socket a bunch of curses in. And I went to go look on PoE Ninja to see if anybody had done that. Nobody's made a build around that. Now, I don't know if I'm sure it's been tried or whatever, but the point of me bringing that up is that there is an endless amount of combinations that you can do with Path of Exile. So that means that there is a build out there that nobody's tried yet, that nobody's attempted to make, that will just steamroll the entire game. You just need to figure it out. And that's what I really enjoy about the game, is it's just endless potential is what it feels like.
Yep. Yeah, they've built on that solid foundation for so many years and then fixed the foundation if it ever faltered. I really feel that with Path of Exile. They have done that. Yeah. And that's why so many people are so passionate about the game. And we share that. Like I've said it at the beginning. The reason I loved PoE and have continued to play it every single league since I started, except Mercenaries, is because I was always learning something new. Every time I logged on, I'd find out about a new interaction. I'd have to look something up. I'd have to fight a new boss. I fought Owl for the first time like 4 leagues ago or something. The Crystal King in Delph. I'd never gone that deep. And there was a challenge that was like, you got to kill the Crystal King. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to find Owl. and I fought him for the first time, like no guys, just had to figure it out. It was so much fun. And like
That's
you kind of said, bottomless toy box. Love that.
Yeah.
The other thing that I love with PoE1, I also like the challenge chase. That's what I do in PoE. I always go for like the third. I'm a sucker for the prestigious cosmetics, so I always went for that. Like, oh, I'm gonna have this sick portal 5 years down the line, and I'll be able to use it in my hideout, and only I'll see it. But still, it's like I love it. I love that stuff. So
no, people will see it when they come in your hideout and trade. They will see it,
right? They'll see it. And then you got the totems, and you can wear the armor, like the purple health globe from Affliction. I don't know if you got that. I know that was the league you came back and blasted.
No, I didn't. I didn't get it.
Bro, like all that stuff. I'm a sucker for stuff that you can earn in game through, playing the actual game and mastering the game. And I think the PoE1 challenge reward system does exactly that. So I was an absolute sucker for that ever since the second league I played. So.
All I have to show off in my hideout is the Jonathan middle finger hideout. That's all I have.
Dude, I saw all your thumbs have the middle finger for your live streams. I was like, dude, you gotta have the freaking banker, man.
I love memes. I'm a big sucker for memes, dude. So like Cal Torak, that meme was great. Jonathan, the middle finger, I love all of it, dude. I think it's great. I get a lot of enjoyment out of stuff like that.
I listened to that podcast. I didn't see it visually. Somebody posted the snippet of that happening. I didn't realize that Jonathan realizes in the moment that he did it. And he's like, oh crap. Fix it. I gotta fix it.
No, he already knew, dude.
I did not.
He's been on the internet for how long? He knows,
dude. I had no clue. He's like, oh my God, I have just made a massive mistake. And it has turned into now the legendary meme. So yeah, it's great.
It's so good.
It is.
I love it. I like somebody took the time out to make a hideout out of it, dude. That's so funny.
You don't use the hideout.
I'll never change it, dude.
Oh,
I have the hideout. Yeah, I have the hideout. 100%. I'll never change it, dude. That thing's gonna be in there until they disable that hideout that it's based on.
There's no way. There's no way they'll disable it. They'll leave it in there forever. It's like it would be as shocking as I don't even know what is it, because I didn't know who she was. The Nano 69. It's the girl hideout where the waypoint is in.
Oh yeah.
What is it?
I don't know who she is either.
I don't know.
She's like an anime character.
Yeah, she's like people are like, you don't know who this girl is, and I'm like, Tubi, her. Yeah, it's like that hideout. It's like when you come in it, you're probably like, oh my gosh. So yeah, where's the waypoint? Is it on his finger?
Yeah, it's like right in the middle of his face or next to his face. But the problem with that hideout is if you hit edit, you can't change anything because there's so many tiles. You would have to get like a controller and then manually like path up there, dude. There's so many tiles.
Yeah,
it'd be impossible to change anything. So
somebody went and was very artistic that day when they designed that hideout. Okay. Yeah. Enough about the hideouts. I think we've laid the foundation. Now I want to get into the actual discussion and debate. But the last thing before we do that, I want to make sure that we are on the same page with the term that I used to describe my ultimate opinion on like the future of PoE1, which is I think that its golden age is over. It's not dead. It's not dying. It's not going to fade. It's going to be extremely popular. But I don't think the golden age is over. So I want to make sure we agree on what golden age means. So here's my definition. For gaming specifically, because obviously golden age refers to like a past peak prosperity moment. So basically what I kind of meant by that, and I should have defined it in the video, was that golden age means the peak of player happiness, the peak of innovation by the developers, and the peak of like the prosperity of the game itself. It's making tons of sales. It's generating lots of like basically revenue for the company. So they have a lot of incentive to keep putting a ton of resources toward it. And I think that golden age is over. And I think that for me, subjectively, I think it existed before you started playing, man. I think it was 3.13 to 3.18. I think that was the golden age of PoE1. That's when they introduced like the Maven, the Searing Exarch, Eater of Worlds, the Atlas trees, the initial versions where they were regions, and then the big Atlas tree and all these different systems that stayed in the game for so long. The balance was great. That was my personal golden age. That was like 2021 to 2022. So I just want to make sure we agree on that definition before we go forward and kind of debate it. What do you think?
Yeah, I would agree with you to an extent.
Okay.
But the problem where my disagreement comes in, and I do agree with your definition, but I would say that Path of Exile 2 has kind of like reopened a new golden age or renaissance into Path of Exile 1, because you get this nostalgia effect. And I think that there's already such a strong supporting base for Path of Exile 1, and a good percentage of those people don't really jive with Path of Exile 2, which I want to get into with you also. But they stick to PoE1. That's their game. And I think that there's a significant amount of people that do that. But on top of that, you also have the people that play Path of Exile 2, and they go, man, I really want to find out what the original game was. I love this game so much. I want to play the original, because there's a lot of people that do that. I do that with music. I do that with movies. I mean, people just do that. We want to find out what inspired this thing that I like so much. And they will come in. I see it on Reddit all the time. I see it on the forums all the time. There's new players. Hey, I played Path of Exile 2. You know, I'm brand new to this. Can you help me with X, Y, and Z? So I see that a lot. And I don't think that that's a small amount of people. So I would argue that Path of Exile 2 is breathing new life into Path of Exile 1. And just looking at the numbers, I think that if they took the time and released a banger league, it would be right on par with PoE2's numbers.
This is one point that I am so glad that you brought up in your video, which that PoE2 right now is one of the best things for PoE1. Because while it's not actively happening like a big renaissance, you are so right that so many people are playing PoE2, they enjoy the game, and they get curious. They get bored with the league, right? They get bored that there's no like actual end game loop to really sink your teeth into, right?
Or and crafting.
We're going to debate that later. But they get bored of the game, and they're like, oh yeah, you know, PoE1, free to play. You know, lots of people, they say it's good. If you ask in global chat in PoE2, a lot of people will be like, yeah, PoE1's great, go try it. Somebody asked me the other day on Twitter, they were like, should I play PoE1 if I've only played PoE2? 100%. If you have the time, go try it. The game is amazing. And so many people, especially, and here's the only thing that I would push back against that on, man. And it's something that I don't want to happen. And I think you disagree a lot with me on this. I think the best thing right now for PoE1 is PoE2, and it's driving players there, and that's great. I also think the worst thing can be PoE2 becoming more like PoE1, which I think is the direction that grinding gear games is going. And I think that is very bad for Path of Exile 1, because I was trying to talk, and I didn't do this effectively, 3-4 years down the line. If the power creep continues to exist, if they continue to do what we talked about at the top, where they adopt a lot of the systems that some people argue work better in ARPGs, if they do that, then PoE2 will just become better PoE1, which I think would be an absolute travesty. I think PoE1, special game, deep game, PoE2 was supposed to be something quite different. And I think almost immediately, like once rubber hit the road in 0.1 and they started to get feedback, they reversed course on that. Right.
So didn't you think that was inevitable? Because if you look at it, the people that play Path of Exile 1, you already know what type of game they enjoy. They enjoy the super in-depth problem solving. Like, I want to put the time into this game, and I want to put the time into these items and this passive tree to where I can just feel like a god, and I want to just steamroll this entire game. So if I put the time in and I have the knowledge, I can do that. And I think that that's what people really like. And then not only that, but it's just, there's a bunch of other things that go into that too. Yep. Like just as far as like crafting items and just like these little projects, side projects you can get going on. But you took an entire customer base. I'm going to look at it from a business perspective. Yep. You took it'd be like if I had a bunch of customers that like my product right now. And then all of a sudden I was like, I'm going to come out with a different product. Except this one works nothing like the original one that everybody likes. In fact, it works slower. It's going to be, I don't know how I would make this metaphor work actually now that I started it, but you know what I mean? Like,
yes.
So they made the game that was so antithetical to how the PoE1 player base enjoys the game. It's like, I don't know, man, they made it super slow. They tried to put all these restrictions on the skills, like to where there's like, I really feel like that limits build diversity. Jonathan would argue with me about that. He would say that the restrictions it kind of inspires creativity. I think that's what he said.
Yeah, but he's reverted on that too, Zero. You know that, like the support gem restriction that everybody, including me, was like, yes, this is a good idea. I agree with this. That what he's saying makes sense. It did not work in practice. But I totally, sorry for interrupting, but I totally understand what you're saying.
No, you're good. No, but that was, I was basically finished. I just meant like that, you know, that was inevitable. They're going to start getting feedback from a very large number of players saying that they don't enjoy the way that the game is. And I think that was inevitable, that eventually Path of Exile 2 would start shifting back towards them, because those are the people that have supported grinding gear games, and those are the people that have gotten them to the position where they could even make the game. And as you mentioned, you know, that was supposed to be part of Path of Exile 1. And I feel like a lot of those players, I don't want to speak on their behalf, but I think it's a good majority of them feel like they got kind of screwed in the deal, because they thought that they were going to get a graphics update. They were going to get a new campaign. I forget what else they were talking about.
Animation
I
update,
wasn't there.
right? All that.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, it was basically going to be what PoE2 is, but they were going to do it to all the current PoE1 stuff and add in the new stuff too. So it was going to be more classes, more ascendancies, a standalone sorry. You got the double campaigns, campaign 1, campaign 2, merge into endgame, all that. It was PoE2, but with PoE1, so it was going to make all the stuff in PoE1 better, right?
Right.
No, 100% with that. I've seen that sentiment so many times, and I totally understand it. I think one of the big arguments, you know, that I think a lot of people might disagree with me on is the players, Path of Exile 1 players funded PoE2, and under the impression that it was going to be PoE1, right? It was 4.0, and it ended up not being the case, and they feel miffed. I think feeling miffed is totally fine. GGG, you know, whatever, they can do what they would like. They've made their decisions, but the feeling of disappointment and confusion and anger, I get that from, like, especially from people who played PoE1, they tried PoE2, didn't like it, and now they're like, oh man, this was supposed to be PoE1, it's all changed. So going back to one point in your argument, the Path of Exile 2, I think this, whether it's a sad reality or just the reality, is because it is the shinier, newer game, it's just going to attract way more players, right? And I don't think many of them will go back to PoE1 and try it out unless GGG, you know, makes good on that promise of updating graphics, updating animations, doing all that stuff, which I hope they do after Path of Exile 2 is released. But with Path of Exile 2 becoming PoE1, right, and being inevitable, I thought that would happen, but it would be a lot slower, right? You said that it was, you said that the game was slower. I'd argue that the campaign, 100%, even now, so much slower than Path of Exile 1. But in 0.1, I mean, builds were so fast, dude. It was PoE1 level once you get to endgame. I mean, I was shocked by the stark contrast between even Ruthless, you know, acts 1 through 3, and then versus acts 1 through 3, and then Ruthless acts 1 through 3 into endgame. It was like I was in PoE1. So I think that was a miss from them, and they never even really gave it a chance. It was kind of surprising. And then it was the whole, like, a lot of players are giving the feedback that, you know, the campaign is too difficult. Do we give in? Do we let this rest? Do we try to test the game a little bit more? No, I think they shifted really fast. So I don't even know if it had room to breathe. Do you kind of agree with that, or do you think it was always gonna happen that quick? I thought it would happen, dude. Like the power creep would happen, the PoE1 power creep, because PoE1, right? Back even when I played, it wasn't as crazy as today. And then when it came out in 2011, was the alpha beta. It was not that as fast. It slowly progressed. I thought PoE2 was, 1, going to go for a different vibe, and 2, the level of attainable power would like be way lower at the start, and that didn't happen, you know?
Yeah, well, I think you underestimate just how smart people are that play this game.
So
like,
smart.
I'm not saying everybody is smart, but that plays it. Obviously, there's people that aren't that bright, like the people making death threats to the developers and stuff like that. That's pretty wild. Those people aren't that bright, but there's a good majority of the player base that is, you know, very high level intelligence. So they're going to figure this stuff out. And then when you have a game like this with so many like multipliers in it, they're just gonna be like, okay, this works here, this works here. They've already solved the puzzle in the first game. So when you start adding things in where like, oh, we already know what this wording means and we already know what these numbers mean, so we plug this in, they're gonna figure it out quick. I would argue that when people were saying that the campaign was too hard, I understood why they were saying it, but in reality, I feel like the campaign is a lot easier than Path of Exile 1. It's just longer.
Really?
That's what I would argue. Yeah.
Really? Okay. Could you dive into that? I'd love to talk about that. Go back and forth on that one.
Yeah. So it like, let me find a good way to put this, right? So
hey, you're good.
In Path of Exile 2, I can put together a build just intuitively that'll just face roll the campaign. I don't need to look up a build guide. I know where exactly to go on the passive tree, because the passive tree, basically, they took all of the, what's the word I'm looking for? All of the complexity out of the passive tree. They removed all the masteries, all of the, so like if you do chaos damage, right? You look at your skill, it does chaos damage. You just path to the chaos nodes, and then that's it. There's really nothing else to think about. You don't have to think about like, do I path up here and grab this mastery? Do I need to sacrifice some offense for defense? There's none of that. It's just, you either pick energy shield and then whatever damage you're doing, and then that's it. You don't have to make any like hard decisions on that passive tree, or mana reservation efficiency. That's another thing that's on the passive tree in Path of Exile 1. That you have to decide whether or not you're going to sacrifice damage for that. Is that going to be enough mana reservation efficiency? Do you need to go for non-curse aura effect? Do you need to go, like, there's just so many things. I could just keep going down the list. But in Path of Exile 2, I just put the skill in and I look at what type of damage it does, and I just path to that on the tree, and that's it. And that's what makes it easier for me. Like, I can just put together a build that in the campaign that just face rolls the entire campaign, and I don't really ever have to put any thought into it. So, I mean, that's why I would say that that's arguably easier. I know some people would disagree, like the boss fights and stuff are a little bit difficult, which, by the way, is my favorite part of the game. But yeah. But I love the boss fights, but the rest of the campaign is super, super easy.
Yeah, I would disagree with, I think the campaign in PoE1, I think it's easier, and I think they're about the same length, honestly. This is coming from, I'm not a speed runner, but my campaign runs in PoE1 and PoE2 are within like 20 minutes of each other right now. And I played the PoE1 campaign. Oh yeah. Yeah, and while streaming, which is like the other thing. So I wonder if purely dedicated, how fast that would be. But I think it's just people need to get used to the PoE2 campaign. I would also argue that some of the areas are still too big. I think in your video you showed like an area that is just ridiculous. I think some of the Act 3 areas, shout out to my least favorite area in the game, Chimeral Wetlands. I hate you. I think some of these definitely need to be tightened up. And I think there needs to be more of what we see in PoE1. Maybe it's there and I just don't know it yet. But like in PoE1, there are hints on how to get to the next area. And I always love that.
The little books.
Right. There's
where
little
the lore's at?
Well, yeah, yes, exactly. There's, plate like the famous one. I don't remember the area name, but there's the Blackguard body next to the door that you got to path through to get to the next day. Like all that stuff that I just have built up over 6 years. Oh my gosh, 7 years, wow, of playing Path of Exile 1. And I think that'll come with Path of Exile 2, especially once they have the full campaign within. On it being easier, though, so does that qualm perhaps come with the fact that in Path of Exile 2, Buildcraft is, I think, far more, like you said, intuitive and simpler than PoE1. I think, especially for new players. I'd see that as a win, but I also wouldn't even say that like the skill tree, the passive skill tree is what would make the campaign easy. I think it's more so like your RNG and just your general intelligence around how to cobble together a build. And if you are smart, which you are, you will be able to steamroll it. I totally feel you. At this point, I am steamrolling it. I am deleting bosses in a couple seconds. I am blowing up every... It feels very similar to PoE1. 0.1 was not like that. Once you get a little experience and you know which weapon to get, to check the shops, you need to use this orb of transmutation, this augment, and this regal on your weapon, and you will start blowing up. Once you know that, it gets way easier. And I think that might be the gap there, because I don't think that's necessarily like explained in the game. And I think a lot of people run into that issue. They don't upgrade their weapons. They, they're not checking the shops. They think a lot of the power should come from the tree, should come from their skill gems. But I don't think it does. I think that's a balance problem. That's what I think it is. Oh,
isn't it supposed to come from your skill tree?
I totally agree. And I have here, big problem with PoE2. I think too little power comes from the tree. I think too much of it is RNG based. I think the values are way off and it's way too swingy, because you can get a weapon in Act 1 and it will carry you to Act 4. I had that happen this league. I don't think that's right. I think that's cool to happen sometimes, but I feel like it happens too often, and many players are almost too dependent on that. I feel like you should be able to lean on your tree and be clever with the tree like you can be in PoE1,
right? And
progress like that. So
that's my point. And the point is that, but my point is that the game mechanically, their Path of Exile 2 is a little bit more complicated mechanically, just because you have the dodge roll, right? And you have to like we don't have any kind of like defensive auras or anything, not like we do in Path of Exile 1. So, and you don't have like purity of elements and stuff like that to kind of just fix certain problems. But the game itself, just the campaign, let's say we stripped away the passive tree, let's say we even stripped away the items. I would argue that they're basically on par if you did that with mechanically difficult. If you stripped away the items and the passive tree from both games and you just had to just go through it, you just had like the very, very bare minimum, I would argue mechanically they're, I don't know, man. It's a hard one. I might have to concede that actually. I guess Path of Exile 2 would be a little bit more difficult.
I think it's just because the bosses do. Dude, the PoE1 bosses, they were like, we're going to reskin this monster so hard and we're going to give it this one extra time. So it's just like, but I totally understand what you're saying with the way you progress your build. Like, I think that is something that PoE2 needs to continue to work on. And I think they're aware of it, but they might be okay with it. And I vehemently disagree that like so much power is baked into gear right now. Like I think
that they're out. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I think that I watched pretty much every interview you've done with JR, and I watched all the other interviews he's done. He gives some very, very surprisingly out of touch answers sometimes to the questions. And like a good example of this was when you asked him on the last interview, when you asked him about the downsides on the tree, and he said, you had asked him, and I understand why there's not more pushback. I get it, dude. Like, you don't want to make it like a hostile argument or a hostile interview.
I should have pushed back more. I can always improve.
He said he wanted to add more of them. I was like, dude, what are you talking about? Like, I don't think he understands like how bad those downsides on the passive tree feel. Especially when you're doing something like the warrior, when you're using mace skills, like, dude, you're already slowed down a lot with like the skill actions, like the animations and stuff. Like I don't
minimum added attack time and stuff like that. Yeah.
It's a feels bad moment. And I just think that like, and the other thing too, he said this on, I want to say it was 2 interviews ago, maybe, when they were talking about sprint, when they first had added sprint into the game. That was like a big thing for him to overcome, to allow that into the game. It seemed like that was the impression that I got from it. It was like he kind of had to like concede that that's what he was going to do. It wasn't like we're going to do this to make the game better. He's like, oh, I guess we'll have to do this. That's how it kind of felt.
It's so good, by the way. I love sprint. I don't know if you're a sprint enjoyer.
Yeah, it's great. But... Yeah, it's awesome, dude. I mean, I don't understand why that wasn't in the game to begin with, but his whole argument for not adding it into the game all the way up until that point was that we were going to run past the monsters. And I was like, dude, like, who plays the game just to run past stuff? I don't.
Right.
Do you play it like that?
No, I play to kill the monsters, bro. That's what I want to do.
Right.
100%.
Right.
I agree.
Right. And that was just like a really weird, like out of touch answer that he gave. The other thing that's pretty out of touch that I feel like is crafting in the game.
All right, let's go into this one.
I know this is kind of, yeah. Can we just jump into it?
Yeah, let's go.
Because I had some good, I have some good points I want to make on this.
100%.
So the whole argument for making crafting RNG based was to have the ground loot be more valuable. Am I correct in saying that?
Yes.
That's their whole argument, right?
Yeah, with the tier systems, right? Because if crafting is too easy, then nothing on the ground is valuable, right? 100%.
Right. Okay.
Yep, that was the initial argument, but
right. And that's the reason why we don't have like alteration and scouring orbs. They want to make ground loot more valuable.
Right, like bases and stuff more valuable. Yep, 100%.
Exactly. Yep. So my contention is, what is the difference between picking up 1,000 bases off the ground and spamming currency on all 1,000 bases, or picking up 1,000 orbs and spamming those on one base? I don't really see the difference. I understand they want to make ground loot more valuable, and if they want to say ground loot's not valuable in PoE1, that's incorrect. That's at least not my experience. Ground loot's incredibly valuable in PoE1. You're looking for that extra quality base. You're looking, there's just you're looking for that fractured item. There's multiple things that you're looking for on the ground, so it's not completely invaluable. And I don't see the difference between those two scenarios. And the tinfoil hat brigade would say that they did that just to sell more stash tabs. That's what a lot of people, I've seen that argument a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So they say that, because I don't really see the difference. Do you?
Okay. As someone who has alt spammed many different items in PoE1, I do see the difference, but I think it is preference based, because they are, in effect, they are the same thing. Okay? I think personally, I do like the idea of having, it's going to sound so dumb, but it's like psychology. I like having the item hunt of finding the cool piece of armor, the helmet, the weapon, bringing it back, right? Or collecting a bunch of them, putting them in a quad tab, and then going through the process on each one. It's like exciting. My friends and I have been doing that in like Discord a lot, where we fill up like a quad tab of boots and we go through and we like get all the currency ready and we'll go and we'll craft it. That's very fun. With PoE1, right? It's the single item and it's just pressing many different times on the same item. Like some people will like that. I think it's very preference based. Right. And I think personally, I do prefer the former, though I do understand like people might see it as more tedious because you need more items, you need to loot more items, you need to buy more from trade, then you need to use all the extra currency, right? Within PoE1, it's just you put the item inside the currency tab centerpiece and then you go with all the currency. So I feel like that's less clunky, but that's one place where I will give in and say like I like the weight of that. Yeah, I like the weight of that personally.
Right. Yep. And
but I don't think there's a difference. I don't think there's like a fundamental difference. Like I think it's like a preference.
That was my whole point. So it was weird that they even made that change to begin with. And the other thing too is if you look at all the crafting recipes for Path of Exile 2, what is it? Whatever type of essence you have, right? That's basically step 1 for any craft. And then chaos spam is the step 2 for I don't know how many % of all the crafts. So you're just spamming chaos orbs anyway. So what fundamentally is it? I don't understand that change. And then he said something too. This is the other thing I meant to bring up.
Yep,
he said something in the last interview that you guys did where he said he doesn't want, I don't remember if it was the last interview, but he said it maybe Ziggy D's Q&A, but he said that they don't want people to think about the affixes on the items. Like this has this tag here and we need to block this to make this roll onto the item. He said he didn't want people to feel about or think about the affixes like that.
I'm going to think about them like that always.
Well, dude, it's like, well, that's what makes Path of Exile 1 so awesome is that if you have the knowledge and the time to put into it, you can have any item you want in the game. So, like if you see like a mirror tier item in Path of Exile 1, you could be like, all right, what do I need to do to get that? I need to get these currencies and I need to put this amount of time in to craft that item. And you can do that. You right now listening to this, if you're a brand new player, you can craft a mirror tier item if you have the time and you take the time to gain the knowledge of what you need to do. In Path of Exile 2, you don't have that. It's all RNG based. It's just like luck of the draw if you spam enough stuff on there. I mean, I guess there are some very, very high end things you could do with omens. But
that's what I was going to argue, because I thought you were going to go into a different direction on this personally, Zero, because it sounds you have a lot of time in the game. And my qualm with crafting, I think at this point it exists in the game. You got omens, you have bones, and a player like myself, I make items that I'm pleased with. It's nowhere near mirror tier, it's nowhere near godly or anything, but I make items that I'm pleased with. I know at higher levels, you can effectively do what you do in Path of Exile 1. You can print basically perfect items. However, the cost of entry is so freaking high, and it is so based on RNG, and you got to use the ancient bones, which I've seen one of in like 130 hours of Abyss being in the game. You have to use these omens that only drop from ritual, and they're also very rare, or they're giga expensive. Like, it is so inaccessible to normal or even like higher than average players. I think it's just too egregious. First, it started in 0.1, pure random. I hated it. Then in 0.2, it kind of stayed the same. They added a few things, but it was basically the same. 0.3 is when they added the bones. I think that's when it was like, that's good. That's good. But now they've once again kind of made it so it's very hard to access and make godly items unless you have a lot of time, a lot of currency, which I think in PoE1 it's more accessible. And I'm trying to think.
I would say that I was very surprised that they removed the omen of homogenization, right? That was the one?
Homogenizing exaltation, I think, right?
That's it, yeah. Yep. Homogenizing exaltation. I was very surprised they removed that. I thought that was just going to get a significant nerf, just have it be a chance to roll whatever, instead of just being guaranteed to not roll. I was very surprised they did that, because I felt like in 0.3, crafting was finally headed to a place where I'm like, dude, I can finally enjoy crafting my items in this game. And now it's we're right back to the pulling the slot machine handle. And I don't think that crafting should be like that. I think that it should go back to how it is in Path of Exile 1, where if you have the knowledge, you have the currency, you put the time in the game to gain that, you should be able to craft whatever you want. And I don't feel like, I don't know, I just don't feel like it's there in Path of Exile 2. Maybe it's just a lack of options, though.
Okay. Because I was going to say, I think I may have misspoke. I think, like, the thing is, I think it's a little bit more accessible in PoE1 with some of the, especially like bench crafting and kind of using the meta crafts on there. But I think they're very much in the same vein at this point. I think, personally, with homogenizing exaltation, I think you could basically make whatever you wanted perfectly. I think maybe it was too easy. You think it was great? See, and that's the thing.
No, it was way too easy, but it was great for me.
It was great, right? 100%. So I think that's the balance that they have to try to draw. I think this is all going back to, once again, what we said at the start of the conversation. They have changed so much, which I am happy about. I'm happy that they're trying new things, but I think a lot of it they're going to find out, like, eventually. I don't know if it's going to be, 0.5. I don't know if it's going to be next year, but they're going to be like, all right, you know what? I think we're going to take in this PoE1 system, change it up a little bit, but we're going to take this PoE1 system and put it into PoE2. Like, I still feel this. I have grown better with the runes. Like, I kind of like the runes a little bit better, but I still want the crafting bench. I think crafting bench would 100% be superior. I will die on this hill. I am a crafting bench stan.
100%.
But 100%. They're so against the crafting bench. I think, mark my words, Zero, one day it'll be in PoE2. So,
dude, I don't understand when that was another thing that he says that's super out of touch is when he says that the runes are the same thing as the crafting bench. They are 100% not the same at all. I don't understand why he keeps saying that. It's like, if you even just think about it, dude, it's just not the same, because you are putting something into the item, right? Instead of putting an affix on the item, which changes like the properties of the item itself. Instead of just socketing something in that you just constantly replace, it works like a lot differently fundamentally, if that makes sense. And it's you can't get movement speed. You can't It's well, you can.
You can on Boots, only on Boots, or if you
can only have one now.
Enthroned. Yes.
But you can only have one now, which is really another weird thing that they did. Why'd they do that? Like, I don't understand. What is all this? They're just like adding artificial friction. That's what Path of Exile 2 feels like to me a lot of the time. It's artificial friction. And it's like, it's something that doesn't need to be in the game. And they just keep adding it in just to kind of like, I don't know. It's almost like a dad trying to teach his kid how to ride a bike. You're like, whoa, slow down, son. You don't want to go too quick. Like, it's kind of like that. That's what it feels like. Like we're kind of being policed a little bit on how fast we want to play the game, like how fast we want to progress. I feel like they should just open up the gates, man. Just let us like do what we're gonna do. You know, if we're gonna figure something out, that's why they need to treat it like an early access game, right there, because they need to have weekly updates and they can get a ton of data, release stuff into the game, have it update every week so that they can get data every week. Okay, we did this change. Now we're going to give everybody a free respec. Here are the nerfs we're making this week. You know, everybody can respec their build, and then let us break the game again. That way, by the time full release comes out, you'll have like a really healthy, balanced game. If that does that make sense?
I am a huge Grinding Gear Games fanboy. I could not agree more. Maybe not every week, but I think it is a travesty that they decided to go with this approach, and they gave in very, very fast to the complaints that they were nerfing builds, that they were changing how things worked, that, you know, people were stopping playing the game because they were making these changes. I thought that was the whole, well, even if people stop playing the game, so what? Fix the game. They will come back when it's better. I thought that was the whole promise going to, I made way too many videos going to PoE2 early access. Okay. I know, I see my channel catalog. I was like, this is going to be crazy. It's going to be the Wild West. They're going to be changing stuff every other week. They're going to be nerfing stuff. They're going to be removing stuff. They're going to be adding stuff. Look at the changelog of Path of Exile 1's alpha, beta, and early patches. They were changed. They're giving passive tree resets every other week, right? And it was not that at all. It was, you know, mid-December. People freaked out. It went viral, and they stopped doing it. I think their success bit them in the butt. I think that I almost think, Z3r0, that it was like too polished. It looks too good. And everyone, this is a real game. This is like full release. If they're calling this an early access, oh my gosh, how could they do that? Look how good this looks. And it bit them in the butt because it got so popular. So many people were playing it. And it got Elon freaking Musk playing it. And all these people, you know.
Yeah, but he was cheating. I want to go on the record and say he was cheating.
He was mega cheating. He was mega cheating. He should be banned. I don't
understand why they didn't. Dude, do you know how base that would have been if they would have banned that dude?
That would have been insane. I wonder if he would have like bought freaking Tencent or something if they did that, you know? Something.
Dude, imagine if they banned him and he's like, no, check this out. I'm going to buy Tencent. Now I own your game.
That would have been
really funny.
Man, that time, I can't even, that was a year ago. The Quinn videos, that was a saga. Holy crap.
And then it went on CNN. Did you see that?
CNN. Quinn was going to be on Piers Morgan Uncensored, and he freaking did
wild, dude.
That would have been wild. That would have been one of the best things ever. Okay. I
mean, they bring it up on Joe Rogan's podcast all the time, how like Elon's accused of cheating in games, but they won't say that in a game. I was waiting for them to say Path of Exile on the JRE. That would have been really fun.
That would have been really good. That would have been great. But yeah, accused of cheating. Dude, 100% cheated. For the record, thank you for saying for the record. But yeah, that was like a crazy time. And I personally think they made the wrong decision. And I also don't like that early access is being so heavily monetized. You know, we got mystery boxes, we have supporter packs, we have all this stuff going on. I get that they're a company and need to make money, but we also know, they already recouped costs with like the sales for the keys for early access. You know,
well, they said it, not us.
Yeah, they said it. So I love the game. I love PoE1, love GGG, all that, but I feel like that has been a mistake, dude. Totally agree that they should treat it like early access.
Dude, you can love them and you can love the game. I love them and I also love the game. I don't hate Path of Exile 2. I just have some very strong criticisms about it. That's all. And you can criticize something you love. I mean, people do it all the time. You know, they have a fiduciary responsibility to Tencent. Well, it's actually Sixjoy is the company that owns Grinding Gear Games. It's like in the conglomerate of Tencent.
Yeah.
But it's they have a responsibility to them to make them money. So I personally feel like Path of Exile 2 needed at least another year to cook. I don't know if they were pressured to release it or what went on behind the scenes. Obviously, we'll never know.
We won't.
But I really feel like they needed at least another year to cook. You can tell, man. I mean, how many? I mean, we've had four releases, right?
Yes.
For Path of Exile 2. And I would say they're at a 50-50 rate right now of successes.
Ooh, what was the failures in your eyes? 0.2, obviously. 0.1?
0.2. And I would say this one.
Real?
This last
Okay.
one. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Why?
The Vol Temple exploit. Well, it's also the timing that they released it over Christmas break that kind of screwed them, I think. But they let the economy just get completely screwed. And that's the other thing, too, is we don't have a divine sync in the game. And that's why divines keep going way up in price because nobody's spending them.
It's crazy.
So it's like I don't understand why they don't they need to fix that. That would be one major thing that they need to fix.
Yeah,
but these are all early access problems, dude. Like if they treated it like an early access game, they would avoid this headache. And I just don't understand. Like, who cares, dude? There's going to be people that cry no matter what. Like, go on Reddit right now. If we pull up Reddit right now, you'll find thread after thread after thread, or the forums, thread after thread after thread of people complaining. And so no matter what they do, people are going to complain.
And I'm actually glad that they decided to push it out, even if it needed a year to cook, so they get all this freaking feedback. Because I think it's very obvious that they needed it. Can you imagine if it cooked for another year, and then Sprint is delayed another year, all this stuff? Like, I feel like the players have given so much good feedback so far, and it has changed the game massively. I think that it's good that it actually came out. And these are, like you said, these are things that they were fundamentally against, but they realized, all right, you know what? We're going to have to meet in the middle. We're going to have to change this up. And I think it's been great. It's been great for the game. I've liked almost. So here's my big thing, Z3r0. I'm totally with you on the zoom. I love zoom, PoE1 forever. But I also was looking for something different in PoE2. And I think my all-time favorite session of PoE2 was 0.1 campaign. It was a struggle from beginning to end. Obviously, I was learning the bosses and everything, but they were also way harder, right? Gear was more scarce. I kind of liked that feeling. I wasn't drowning and everything. And now, like we talked about, it's very easy. You know what to do. You're getting a lot more gear, all this stuff. And they moved more in that direction. I've also loved it. Like, I've played this league now. I think this is like the most I've played a league, essentially. It's and we're only a month and a half in. I've been freaking loving it. And I don't know, kind of returning to that prior topic, would you have preferred it to be quite distinct from PoE1, or do you think that both PoE2 and PoE1 will be fine if they end up being, similar games with different campaign, different end game bosses and everything, but they're basically both not identical ARPGs, but 75% the same with different content? Do you think that'll be okay in the future?
I think that they should have, if they were going to go this direction with the game, I think they should have called it something different.
Yeah,
I really do.
Like
I think that has a big, I can just tell you anecdotally, my personal experience going from Path of Exile 1 to PoE2, I already have a expectation in my mind where this is going to be very similar, and they are very different games. Just the way they play, everything about them is different, really, when you think about it. I mean, you have like similar themes in the game, but you have like dodge roll. This game is heavily designed around WASD. Path of Exile 1 is not. The ascendancies are way underpowered in the game. They do not add very much like identity to your character, I guess would be the right way to put it. They don't add that. The passive tree is way more intuitive. The way that the skill gem system works is different. Like they should have just called it something different, and people would not have the same reaction that they do to this game. I think that they see Path of Exile and they expect Path of Exile. At least that's what I do. And it takes me a while to adjust. I run Heist in Path of Exile 1.
Oh boy.
So my characters typically have 600 plus movement speed, 600% movement speed. So going into PoE2, it's like shell shock. And it's, and that's on me really. But I think that that's just how we are, right? We see that. the name, we expect it to be Path of Exile, and it plays way different.
I think you have a point, but really only when it comes to, I think it's just the campaign. I think the end games are so similar, man. It's just one is missing content. They play so I played Keepers a lot. I got my cool challenges. I pursued the Aelith story. That was super cool. That was rad. They play so similarly. If I wasn't playing a wolf right now or a bear, which I think is the only time PoE2 has done combo gameplay right, and I was playing any other meta build, they are I swear, they are basically 1-to-1, same PoE1, PoE2. One button builds, you're not doing a lot. I think they play very similarly in the end game, but the campaign is so different. It is shocking, right? Because you actually do, for a lot of times, especially if you're a first-time player, if you go PoE1, you play through PoE1 campaign, and you come to PoE2, you play through the PoE2, very different games. You're dodge rolling, you're sweating in boss fights probably, like you said. A lot of the systems work differently. You get to your Sekima, and you're like, I'm about to get busted. And then you ascend as, I don't know, anything but a blood mage. And you're like, what is this? This isn't right. I'm supposed to be strong. I love that feeling in PoE1, dude. When I get that first ascension from lab, it is such a power. Honestly, every subsequent on most of the ascendancies, I'm like, oh, I feel that. I want that in PoE2. They need to fix that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I'll concede that. I'll concede that in the end game, they do feel like very similar games. But in the campaign, it feels almost like, and I've heard you bring this up before, it's just a really good point. I wish you would press him more on this, is when you do interview him, is that the game feels like two completely different games in the campaign and the end game. I've heard you bring this up before, and I wish you would press him more on this point when you interview him, because that's such a good point to make. Like, dude, what direction is this game going in? And I think that confuses a lot of people. And we were talking about, why is this such a contentious topic? And I think that it has a lot to do with the PoE1 base, but it also has to do with the game not really having an identity. Because if you think about it, he always says we want to have meaningful combat, right? We want to have combo systems. We want to have that. That's like the vision, right? That's the meme that everybody says. Yeah. But in an ARPG, how are you going to have meaningful combat if you have more than 10 mobs in a pack? It's like, are you going to lure them out one by one and then combo them? How does that work? So it's like, are you going to do the screen blow up thing, or what direction is it going in?
See, and this is the thing too. This is the balance thing. This is why I totally agree on the identity crisis thing. Okay. I actually have, for one of our, we've already kind of got into it, but I wrote down what are the biggest problems right now with PoE2. And in my notes, I have, end game progression balance. We don't need to talk about that. I think that's basic. I have deterministic power versus random power balance, which we talked about. In-game versus out-of-game resources already go wild in PoE2. And then the last one, identity crisis. Okay. I think this is a problem, and it's not all. It's because it exists and it doesn't exist. Because in PoE2 right now, if you choose skills that work, skills that are powerful, it feels like PoE1. You will blast through crap, dude. It doesn't matter even if you have like a bad weapon, you will blast through crap. And then, like, I don't know, I'm just going to throw out a number. I'm not good with numbers. 75% of the other skills in the campaign, if you have like an average weapon, oh my God, you are dodging, you are paying attention to mechanic. Very different games. It feels like that was the intended game, right? What is the balance they want, right? For the longest time, and yeah, I've really, if I get the opportunity again, like I said, the one thing I got to work on, follow up and engage. Pushback, because I do play the game a lot. I play the game a lot. I've experienced these problems, especially this league. I got very frustrated. So I need to talk about these things. And, I lost my train of thought. Yes. So in endgame, okay, they need to decide what the ceiling is, I feel like. Okay? Because if they want to go for a different identity than PoE1, if they want a distinct identity, then they need to decide how powerful you should be. And right now in PoE2, sky's the limit, bro. I see people doing Uber Arbiter, the hardest content in the game, which I guess isn't like that hard. But I've even seen like 6-man Uber Arbiter, 120 million HP deleted in like 2 seconds, right? You can get very, very powerful in the game. And I don't know. It's hard. It's hard for meaningful combat to exist in a game like that, especially in endgame. Like I'm of the mindset Z3r0, though. The thing is, I think that they've made their decision. Kind of like I said, I think they want it to be more like PoE1. I think they, you know, I think it's going to be more zoomy than I originally thought. You know, I didn't want a No Rest for the Wicked. I don't know if you played that game, but that's like the Souls. That's like literally Souls like. I suck at Souls like. I'm so bad. I didn't want No Rest for the Wicked, but I didn't want PoE1. I wanted something in the middle, you know? Right?
Right.
And
I think that I don't think it exists.
It doesn't.
I don't think it can exist.
Right?
Because if you could think about it, just think about it like thematically, right? If you have a mechanic like Breach in the game where you open up the breach and you're just getting swarmed by monsters, right? How are you supposed to have meaningful combat?
True.
How are you supposed to like, what am I supposed to do? Kite this enemy over here, set up my combo, and then go into the pack? It doesn't work.
It doesn't.
So
right.
Yeah. And so I think that just the premise is wrong. And so if they kind of approached it like how can we make Path of Exile 1 type gameplay more meaningful? You know, I don't really know. I'm not a game developer, so I don't really know what goes into that. But that's a pretty daunting task, if you ask me, because you have these maps where you're just getting swarmed by packs. I know that they tried to nerf the packs, and it does feel a little bit better, but I still feel like like the combo thing. I don't know, dude.
You're still blowing up stuff, bro. Like there's still tons of monsters. Like
you're still blowing stuff up.
I fixated on that. I was like, oh, this goes so good. It's gonna be, you know, less monsters on screen. You can know what's going on. Nah, not really. You know, and you brought up a great point with like the flasks. Like they designed the game with the 5 flask system in mind, with the Quicksilver. Same thing.
The maps. And the maps. The maps were designed around that too.
It's the same thing where they're like, they were intent on saying, we have PoE2. We said we're going to port PoE1 League mechanics to PoE2. Let's port this, even though in the campaign, meaningful combat, especially in point 1, I think. And then in the end game, you have Breach, you have Ritual, you have Expedition, where boom, tons of monsters on top of you. That is antithetical to like the design. So it's like, it's a mixed bag, which is why, it's like, it was the identity crisis. It's a lot of people on either side thinking, oh, we're going to get this, but we really got that. And them kind of saying like, oh, well, we want to pursue the more meaningful combat, but then I think like Abyss was the opposite of meaningful combat, and bro, that was fun. That was super fun. People loved it, you know? So
very fun.
It's funny. It's funny. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. That's they have like a monumental task ahead of them, dude. It's crazy. I could not even imagine being the game developer on either of these games, to be honest with you. That's a crazy, because you not any decision you make, it's just going to get torn apart by a huge community of people. You're going to have half of these people are mad, half of these people love it. And then what do you do at that point?
Yep.
You know, I don't even know what you would do.
100%. All right, Z3r0, we have been holy crap. Wow. I still want to get through a few of these topics, dude. I didn't realize.
Yeah, let's get there. I want to talk to you about ascendancies real quick. I don't care, dude. We could talk. We could talk till midnight. I don't care.
Okay.
So ascendancies.
Yep.
Why did they make the decision to make the ascendancy so weak in Path of Exile 2?
I don't know. I literally don't know. I thought, you know, the balance pass for 0.4, a lot of them do feel better, but they're still not that big power boost that you see like in PoE1. Save a couple.
Yeah.
You know, like Pathfinder, really big. I feel like Blood Mage is great.
Blood Mage.
I think Shaman like also really good, but I think a lot of them are still faltering behind. So I do think they're moving in the right direction, and I do think they are aware that, I was going to say the perception. No, the reality is that a lot of these ascendancies are lackluster. Like they're cool thematically, but they don't actually alter your character in, you know, huge ways. I think they're aware of that, and they're going to continue working on that, because that was one of my biggest qualms, man. Because in PoE1, you felt that ascension when you Berserker, Juggernaut, Gladiator, my faves, always felt that. You know, Slayer.
Yep.
I wanted to get in that spot for PoE2. Do you also agree that should be fundamental, man? It's one of the coolest systems 100%. In Path of Exile.
100%, dude. If you're going to make somebody go through the trial of Sekimas, and especially on a melee character, dude, you have to make it worth it. At this point, it feels like you should just go through unascended and it wouldn't even make a difference. That's how it feels, unless you're choosing like Blood Mage, where you need like base spell crit or something. It doesn't feel any different. I think where they went wrong.
Yeah.
And if let me know if you agree with this.
Okay.
I think where they went wrong was making a lot of the skills grant, like a lot of the ascendancy points grant skills.
It's so hard to balance, dude.
And nothing else.
Yes.
Like there's no supporting stat on there. It'd be one thing if they said like, I'm going to give you this skill but on top of that, I'm going to give you these stats to boost that skill.
Yes.
That'd be different. Because think about it, dude. I mean, I could look it up right now. Like, how many builds are based around an ascendancy skill? I don't think any.
No. I'm thinking, you know, the Chronomancer has a ton. You know, my friend Gavrin did just do an Elemental Sundering build on Invoker. Shout out to him. It's 0.1% play rate.
Yeah, he's really good.
Yeah. What any of the skills themselves? I don't think so. Because they're so niche. None of them are like defining, unless I'm forgetting one entirely.
Well, if you look at like look at the Smith of Kitava when they release that, like they're gonna release a skill where you have to pause, you temper your weapon, and it lasts a few seconds. Like, dude, who that plays Path of Exile is gonna want to do that?
Dude, I memed on that one immediately. I was like, there's no way.
We saw Quinn, right?
Oh,
Quinn was trying to do
it? Yeah,
it was pretty funny.
That was good. That was good. Okay, guys, Disciple of Varashta does not count. That is done right, I think. That is a skill ascendancy done right. They lean fully into that. Don't even. And it has some pretty sick passives to go along with it.
That's very sick, dude.
Yeah.
That I will like 100% agree with your I don't know if is that your chat telling you that? Because I agree with them 100%.
Yeah, chat.
Yeah.
Demon Form? I don't think Demon Form is what's that? I don't think is Demon Form even used? I haven't seen a single Demon Form build.
There's been a couple of really good Demon Form builds. I don't know if right now in this current iteration if that's been the case, but dude, like Chronomancer, let's just stay on that for a second. Like the entire what is it, 60% of the skill tree or the ascendancy tree is all skills. So
with no extra benefit.
And yeah, nobody ever uses them. I mean, they use them in the build, but there's no like you want your ascendancy to be like the base of your build, right? Like that's what your entire build should be built around. Like I am going through this to ascend to this so that I can make this end game god, if that makes sense, right? Mm-hmm. So you want the ascendancy to support that, and right now it doesn't.
Yeah, I think that's something that they are actually aware of, and I think they are iterating on that because they made so many of the ascendancies actually good this patch, and they just need to keep iterating, and they need to make sure the new ascendancies coming in, this is important, Z3r0, have the learnings from the other ones that didn't go over so well. You know, I have to give it to him, dude. I was not hyped about Oracle or Shaman getting into a game and actually experiencing at least the Shaman and then seeing the potential of the Oracle and how cool the actual interaction with the passive tree. That made the passive tree pretty dang exciting, dude. Like that was good. That was good. Yeah. I like that stuff. Same with the Disciple of Varashta. Now they got to get all the other ascendancies and the future ones up to that level. And then
if they can do that, I will concede if they can do that with every single ascendancy to make it to where it synergizes like that with the passive tree, I will 100% concede that this game will be on a very, very good path. Yeah. The other thing I wanted to talk to you about was the generator spender system.
Ooh, okay.
With totems. Okay, so let's start off and say this shouldn't be like Diablo 4. Okay, because that's kind of like what that reminds me of, right? You have like your basic attack, and then you have your core skill. One generates your resource, and then you spend it. And that's what it felt like when they brought in the spell totems. And spell totems, correct me if I'm wrong, but historically that's been a pretty strong archetype in Path of Exile 1.
Chill. Are you memeing on me right now, Z3r0?
I'm not.
Are you because I said something that has been clipped to the high heavens during my interview with Jonathan. I was like. And I wasn't 100% right, but I was like, spell totem builds are, strongest spell builds in PoE1. Clip to all high. And what I meant was they are like easy to make and play, and they're powerful because all you do is you put up the spell totem and you run in a circle and the boss dies. That's kind of what I meant, but it got lost in the sauce. But yes, historically they have been powerful, but not the most powerful. Right. Yes, sir.
No, they're not the most powerful. Yep. But I saw the interview, but maybe that contributed to me knowing that. I just didn't bring that up when I was thinking about that. But that is a theme in like it's like a build archetype in Path of Exile 1. So why are you adding it to the game to where you have to like generate something to spend it? It just that's a feels bad. It's a feels bad moment, right? With like, especially the way charges work in this game. Like, dude, we could go on and on and on about things that that they changed from Path of Exile 1 that feel weird in Path of Exile 2, I think. And I think you would agree with me on a lot of those things.
I think I would. On this one, I see the light. On this one, I think I see the partial light. Let's see. After
Enlighten
playing
me.
Druid, yeah. No, here we go. I'm gonna try.
Okay, I'm
So-
ready, dude.
so-
I'm not married to any of my ideas.
No,
I'm just letting you know.
ditto.
You can change my mind.
Ditto. I'm gonna
Okay.
try. So Diablo 4, I did play Diablo 4. The generator spender playstyle felt poopy. Okay, because I felt like the payoff was not worth the reward. Okay, and I felt like the abilities didn't feel impactful. They didn't feel that different. The animations weren't flashy. Monsters weren't flying around. Blah blah blah. Right? I didn't like it. It just felt like I was pressing one button, pressing the other button, and they were basically doing kind of the same thing. Just the one button's number was higher. Okay. At least I haven't played Spell Totem. Okay. I know that there are a few builds floating around where it works and it's very powerful, but I have played Bear to level 95. And I played Wolf to level 89. I'm about to hit 90 and get my 5th supports socket. And they have shown me the light on Builder Spender. Because I am building up, whether it's Rage or Freeze, I am building up using one skill and then using a variety of other skills as payoff. And the payoff feels good. I feel like the buttons I'm pressing matter. They have different animations. They're flashy. They feel impactful on the monsters. And they all meld together so well. Okay, so that's the thing I feel like they have to hit. And I feel like these can't be the only playstyles that also exist in the game. I feel like other things have to exist. Okay, so I can't speak for Spell Totem, but I can speak for the Wolf especially. I think that is the apex right now of combo gameplay, even though it's like very limited and it's, you know, you're doing the same thing as many other people out there, but building up the freezing someone, rending them with your claws, howling, turning on Arctic lunar blessing, and then doing a huge cross slash, dude. Oh my god, it feels so good. And that is all Builder Spender, and it's all combo. That's the only time it's felt good though, man. So that's the thing. I think it is very hard to get right. The stars have to align and the devs have to cook, right? Otherwise, it'll feel bad. If it's as simple as like literally like the Spell Totem, I feel like that's kind of like it feels bad. It's like you must generate 3 power charges and then you can use Spell Totem. Like I don't know. There's not like a ton of interplay, and right now there's not a lot of options for generating power charges. So I feel like that one totally concede. Like I think that feels bad. There's not enough options. There's it's so limited, you know?
I'll give you this, dude. My Stormweaver, my Firestorm Stormweaver is technically a generator spender, but it doesn't feel that way because you're just gathering infusions as you're casting stuff. And so it's kind of passively generating in the background, and then you just keep spending it. And it annihilates everything, dude. Yep. But the spell totems, especially in the campaign, feels very, very terrible, dude. Yeah. Like why? I don't even understand. Why did you even make it to where it's even available in the campaign? It doesn't make it, just make it available like later on.
Yeah, because it's very hard. I mean, especially for the builds that would be using that, I think a lot of the time it's going to be hard to generate power charges. They are adding more. I think they just, this is the first time I'm going to say it. This entire chat, I think part of it is due to them not it being in early access and unfinished and not having all the base tools in the game. I think it's suffering from that in many different ways, but especially in this case. Like I'm really hopeful that like once the Templar is added and those skill gems are in the game and that part of the tree, that they'll add more ways to do this. Just like with Rage, you know, Rage was fundamentally changed with 0.4. It was given a lot of different options, keystones, pieces of gear, the ascent. I hope that'll happen in the future. But right now, 100%, so many archetypes, like they feel bad because the stuff isn't in the game.
Dude, like I'll give you a really good example of this, something that really doesn't make sense thematically. Like, why are we so restricted to weapon types? Like, why doesn't Falling Thunder work with a mace? Like they say that the reason why they do that is thematically it doesn't make sense, right? But why is it that you can't use something like Falling Thunder with a mace? Why can't you shoot a projectile that's a bow skill from your crossbow?
I asked him
Like,
this. What did he say? I can't remember what he said because I did ask him about that exact one that you just said, the falling thunder with
Yeah.
a mace. Because I think my Dream Core kind of brought this up, and I was like, "Hey, that's good." I'll ask that. I don't remember what they said. My mind is cooked. It was not the last interview. It was the one before that. But I agree. I think that would also open up more possibilities, or having like unique items that granted this. Like, okay,
Right.
maybe it's not the gems, but maybe there's the special case, right? That's cool. That's what PoE's all about, you know?
When you said that, I think I remember you asking that when you said the unique thing. But I don't remember what his answer was. I'll
I
have
don't
to
remember either.
rewatch it.
Yeah, dang it. Well, I'm cooked. I'm cooked. I think it was probably like, oh, it might have been the thing that you talked about earlier, like, oh, the limitation breeds creativity. I don't think that was the answer, but it might have been.
Dude,
I think it was something else.
He's very good at sales. I'll tell you that much. He's very good at selling his ideas. He makes them sound very, very smooth. And I'm like, okay, maybe. And then I think about it for a second. I'm like, no, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, he's super
But he's
smart.
very good at that.
He is.
Yeah.
He is. He is. Okay.
Yeah.
I want to move on from PoE2 to PoE1 for a little bit. Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that. Yeah, I think this might be the last part of the con, though.
Yeah.
And I had sent to you, what are the biggest problems right now with Path of Exile 1? And I sat down this morning at 6 a.m., dude. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, I have this long list for PoE2, right? And I sat down and I'm like, problems with PoE1. And I honestly couldn't think of anything fundamentally wrong with the game right now.
I can.
Okay, you go for it, because my list is one thing and it's not a game thing.
Okay. That's interesting. Okay. Well, the first thing it would be that the barrier to entry is way too high.
Okay. Yes.
For new players, right? So it's people coming into the game, they have zero idea what they're doing. If they were cut off, like, right, like let's say they were on an air-gapped PC, they had no access to the internet, and they just had Path of Exile installed in their computer, they were able to play offline, they would have zero idea what they were doing. Zero. They would fail and fail and fail. It would take them, I don't know how long it would take them, dude, to figure out what they were doing. That is one thing that is just fundamentally flawed with the game.
Yep.
And I would say that's the main thing that's on my list. But the second thing I would say is that there is way too much bloat. I guess that's a good way to put it, in the game. So like, for example, like let's say you're playing SSF, right? Think about how many mechanics you have to engage with if you want to craft a specific item, right? Like you need to engage with the beasts. You need to engage with essences. You need to engage with harvest. Sometimes you need to engage with delve. Like all of those things combined, I think that there's just way too much bloat in the game. And if there was a way for them to streamline that a little bit, streamline it, I think it'd be a lot better.
Okay. Okay.
Those would be my two answers.
Those are your two answers. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Before I reveal mine, because I think we somewhat agree, I also think that is the magic of Path of Exile 1. I truly do. We talked about earlier. The bloat of the game, and I know this is the thing that also is very difficult for like new players to overcome. But the bloat of the game is the magic of the game, and I hope it happens to Path of Exile 2 as well. I hope that there are so many different content types and systems one day in PoE2 that a new player comes in and they're like, oh my goodness, I could spend, 100, 200, 300 hours and just scratch the surface, and there's so much to learn. I think that's the magic of the game. I just think they need to do a better job of explaining it.
I should have prefaced that by saying I do enjoy that, but I feel like that's what keeps a lot of players out of the game. That's what I should have said. I like the fact that I have to solve the puzzle of crafting and engage with all those mechanics, but I think a lot of people don't play the game because of that.
And I agree. And I think that is one of the big we'll never know. We'll never know the true reason. One of the big reasons is claimed to be melee. But I think that's one of the big reasons why Path of Exile 2 happened. Because this is a big fat reset button for grinding your games. I would hope to not make the mistakes they did with PoE1. But they are. 2, explain things as they come, to make them intuitive, so all those new players that come in, when they go into game, they're not assaulted by a betrayal board and they're like, what the heck is going on here? What is I don't know. Heist? these, well, the rogues are gone now, but there used to be like the rogues and the whole equipment. The rogues aren't gone, but you had to level up the rogues and you had to quit. Like there's all these different, and it is not explained in game. Unless you want to experiment and fail or not engage with it, which that is the path I took with some mechanics, you need to go out of the game and you got to go to YouTube. You got to go to like Mobilytics for a guide, and you got to engage with all this stuff, which again, some people would argue is a part of the magic of PoE as well. That there is this bustling community, and that there's all this tribal knowledge that is shared. Like it's such a beautiful thing to look at, because I see the perspective, all the perspectives, because this in a way is horrible, but in a way it's great, because this is what makes Path of Exile. Maybe it's not for you. Maybe it's if you don't want to engage with all this stuff and be like you are, like be curious, right? I think that's the best way to describe it. We are curious people. We like learning. We like being curious, right? And maybe Path of Exile 1 isn't the game for you. I think it could be. With, better systems, onboarding systems. And I think that's why PoE2 was made, to try to address that. However, with the temple is now fixed a little bit, but like with the temple UI and everything, I was like, as I saw that, I was like, you're the same Path of Exile 1 trap right here. I have seen this before. What the heck is going on? I have played this game. I make content and I don't know what is going on. All right. So I know that there are lots of people out there that feel the exact same way. So
yeah, I 100% agree with that. Yep. I think that is like the beautiful part about Path of Exile is the complexity and the depth of it. But at the same time, it's a double-edged sword. It keeps a lot of people out, but if they had a better way of explaining the in-game systems. But I also feel like you are 100% correct, man, that Path of Exile 2 is headed towards that. And the Vol Temple is the perfect example of that. It's the same thing.
Please
again,
don't do it. Don't do it again. GGG, no, please.
They're going to.
No,
you already know they're going to.
No, Z3r0, come on. I will pound my drum. I will be like, come on, don't do it, guys. Don't do it. Hey, the UI was updated. I was very happy. But from step one, I know these are anecdotes, but I have friends who did play this patch and they like got to the temple and they were like, what the? I'm done. I don't know what's going on. Right. So they're losing people. I think if they just, learn from those mistakes, they spend that extra time, they write those instructions and play, right? I think that'll help. I really do. So, and I think that's one of the biggest pitfalls that PoE1 kind of fell into, was that so much was added, but it wasn't explained in game. And a lot of people want to, like I always say, I like sitting down at my PC and I like booting up the game and I like playing the game. I don't use third party. I'm a crazy person. I don't use like Exiled Exchange. I don't use POB. I just play the game. So I love when the game explains what's going on to me, or I can intuitively figure it out.
You don't use POB?
I have like used POB to put like my PoE planner build into POB, but no, I don't tinker around in POB at all. I only did that like if I have a starter and people are like, what's your POB? I would like rip it from PoEplanner.com and put it in POB, and I'm like, I don't use this, so like I don't know how to config or like set up the proper gear, or oh my gosh, put all these buttons of like is boss, is ignited, I don't do anything.
Well, then you, sir, haven't been flamed enough on Reddit for uploading your POB. You need to do that, and then eventually you'll end up doing it.
You go a thick skin if you upload your POB. People don't want to see my POB. My builds are not optimized at all. They are cobbled together, bro.
Hey man, whatever you enjoy. That's the great thing about video games is you play them your way, and if you're having fun, that's all that really matters. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks.
100%. Totally agree, dude. Okay. I think that was an awesome combo, but I want one more thing. Legacy of Friesh is coming up. I know you released a video, top 3 melee builds. What are you going to play? Do you have an
play Absolution Architect.
Ooh.
So I have right now in Keepers, I have a Absolution Necromancer, Vol Absolution. And it's like so it's a skill where if you're not aware of this, you hit the enemy, it creates a minion for you. They have a lightning attack, right? But the Vol version of it, you can create a Ascended Sentinel of Absolution, and they do this carpet bombing attack of lightning. And it's very, very, very cool. And the Architect of Chaos is the perfect ascendancy for that. And so it's going to be madness. I love it. Not only that, but we have the bloodline ascendancies and the Foulborn uniques now. So this is going to open up. This is a whole new ball game.
100%
for Path of Exile 1.
See, and that's one of the big things I think, and I glazed over this, but I think one of the reasons that I was like, I don't think it's as much dev effort needs to go for PoE1 and the media or the long term, because that game is so good, and a lot of the devs of the company know it so well. They can go in there, craft some new content, and just change up some things, and it will reinvigorate the entire community. When they announced Freesia, dude, I haven't seen like Reddit like that, like the official. They're like freaking out. They're like, whoa, dude. They're just like, people 100K love it.
Like that.
Yeah. So if they just,
and that was on a league that was over a year old.
Yeah.
Or almost a year old.
See?
Yeah.
So like people will continue to come back to this game forever and ever. And I have to agree with your point, man. I was so glad that you brought it up. The Renaissance. I think that's totally possible. 100% possible. And I hope it happens. I really hope. Yeah. My final opinion was, I think, cynical. The optimistic viewpoint is that after PoE2 releases, GGG does do what they said. And they're going to run both games concurrently, and they're going to pump out leagues, and they're going to innovate, and it's going to be it's going to be double golden age. It's going to be the Renaissance, the golden. It's going to be great. So I hope that happens.
I think both can have a golden age concurrently. I really do.
Yeah.
I think that the golden age of Path of Exile 1 can be reinvigorated. And I think Path of Exile 2 can also have its golden age. And for the record, man, I don't hate Path of Exile 2. And a lot of people say that. I guess I just criticize it too much. But I wanted to bring this up because you brought the last thing I'll talk about. Yeah, I know we've been talking for a while, but
no, that's fine.
You had brought up the point. Why does this make people so emotional about talking about this? And I thought this is like a larger point. And I think that these algorithms on social media have siloed us off into our own little echo chambers, so that when we see people having a opposing opinion, it's almost like when you see something like reinforcing your belief system over and over again, and then somebody else comes in with an opposing viewpoint, you're like, dude, why doesn't this guy see this? But it's because everybody has their own algorithm. So it's just feeding us. It's like positively reinforcing our opinions over and over again. And so I think that is the answer to that. And I think that just goes to that's in politics and everything pretty much.
It's everything.
That's just where we're at right now.
It's everything. And, the past few days, I totally agree with you, by the way, Zero. And that's why I really appreciated just the way that you handled this, because other people didn't handle it that way. And, you can't control other people's responses, but I respect that you controlled your response and you didn't like dive into, oh, this idiot, this is rage bait, this is the worst take ever, he's retarded, this is just terrible, why would anyone think that? But you were like, I respect his decision or his opinion. I disagree. Here's why. And that is why I reached out to you and I was like, dude, let's talk. Because that is awesome. That is what I love I do that all the time, and I try to foster that debate. That's why I'm sure you probably have your podcast too, because you like to talk to people that don't agree with you 100%, that have different opinions. That's what makes everything. Like if you were just sitting there like, yes, that's why I don't necessarily, I get echo chambers, but I don't understand how people fall into them and don't realize what's happening, Because
I think that's such the time we live in right now is because of the way that the internet is it just keeps feeding you it over and over again.
Yeah.
And that feels really good, dude. When you're positively reinforced, you're like, damn, I'm right. That feels really good when you keep getting fed that over and over again, but it's not healthy for you. You have to have opposing viewpoints.
You have to talk with people you disagree with. I would posit you got to be respectful. All that is so important, man. All that is so important. Man, you have
to challenge yourself.
Yes, challenge yourself. Oh, what I was going to say is, this whole, the fallout of it has made me kind of like look up some stuff on Google for the first time and really try to improve myself as a person, how I represent myself, how I speak about things. I think this was a learning moment. It was nice because you might not believe it, but I did not mean to stoke flames with this. I know we've talked about how polarizing the topic was, I literally went into this good faith listening to, I'd say, my friend Connor Converse's video. He's great about him doing about PoE1. Dude. And I was like,
I just had him on the podcast too. He had a really good pod.
See, check it out. TheoryCast, right?
Yeah,
I'll put the link to everything in the description, by the way. We'll do the shout out in a sec.
Appreciate it.
But yeah, Connor's great. He put out the Doomer video. I was like, you know what? I'm going to put out a less Doomer video, and I'm going to try to lay out what I think is the future, and I'm going to hopefully get people to talk about it and, you know, hopefully be civil. And it was the total opposite. And I'm like, I got to think better. I got to understand all this better. What is going on, dude? So,
well, yeah. I don't think you have to understand anything, man. I think that people need to just check themselves, because what it is, when you start getting like personal attacks, like people attacking the way you look or your family or stuff like that, that's just, I think that speaks to a deeper mental illness that we're all suffering from. Yeah. That has to do with social media. And so I think that's kind of like an induced mental illness on society. But, you know, I would just, if I can give you any advice, I would just tell you to just look for the criticisms that you can get some kind of like constructive criticism from, and learn to grow from that. But when they start doing personal attacks, I just, whatever, man. 100%. Like I've had it on my channel too, man. It's just, it is what it is, dude. When you do this, and you're making content, you open yourself up for everybody to come say whatever they want, because the internet has given everybody a voice, and for better or for worse, you know,
100%.
It just is what it is.
No, totally agree, my man. Totally agree. And I appreciate you. Thank you so much, dude, for coming on, talking about all this, going for almost 2 hours, dude, freaking rocking it during the tail end of PoE2, the start of Frisia. Z3r0, do you want to shout out you know, your channel, your pod? Go for it, man. All the links will be below to everything.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I have a podcast called TheoryCast, and if you are a person that struggles to make your own build in Path of Exile 1 or Path of Exile 2, it is an excellent resource. I talk to the top content creators in both games and ask them their philosophy and just kind of their process in putting together builds, so you can learn a lot from them. I've gotten a very good response from that. Other than that, I just make like simple beginner guides for crafting, for just mechanics in Path of Exile, and I put out whatever builds that I'm playing. And other than that, man, I'm streaming kind of sporadically right now just because work's a little bit crazy. But yeah, come check me out. I'm on Twitch, YouTube, streaming for sure. I appreciate you having me on, dude.
Oh, of course, Z3r0. This was great. Again, guys, everything in the description. Z3r0, thank you so much for coming on. Everybody in the live chat, I'll post in the YouTube channel and Twitch channel in just a moment. Z3r0, this has been great. I hope you have a wonderful night, my dude. And everybody watching, see you later. Bye-bye.
Thanks, man. I hope I didn't piss your chat off too much.
Dude, no. Dude, everybody has been super calm, super... Well, there was one guy. Wasn't mad at you. Was mad at me. Now banned. Everybody was good. It was a great combo, man. Cool. I really appreciate it.
Brother. I appreciate you, dude.
All right. I'll talk to you later, Z3r0. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
All right, man. Have a good night.
Thanks. All right, chat. What do you guys think about the conversation? I thought it was pretty great. Very, very different. You know, I talked a lot more in this one than I usually do. But I thought it went really well. Z3r0's a great guy. GG, banger podcast, W interview. Don't worry, guys. The video title is gonna be why the golden age of Path of Exile 1 is really, really over. That's a joke. That's a joke. Yeah, Blaze, the packaging. Blaze, you missed it. I'm reading Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. I am adopting Stoicism. I'm thankful to be here. I'm grateful to be here. Yesterday doesn't own me. I control my mind, not the other way around. Kindness is my superpower. This moment is all I have. Best make most of it. I cannot control outcomes. I cannot control others. I can control myself. My new mantra, guys. It is freaking awesome. Schwingy told me about it. Schwingy's like, oh, Stoicism is pretty cool, man. You should look into it. And now I've gone down the reading rabbit hole, and I'm reading all these excerpts from Marcus, and I'm reading some other guy. He was a slave in ancient Rome before Marcus Aurelius, and he became a philosopher, a Stoic philosopher. I can't remember his name. Anyway, it's fascinating. So I'm going to be reading that. Was it Epictetus? What the heck was his name? I can't remember. Was it Epatitis? Not Spartacus. But anyway, yeah, it's been freaking great. So I like not only in this, but especially in this, guys. Oh, it's gonna help me massively. Freaking love it. Great. Not hepatitis. Not hepatitis. What are you guys talking about? So you ain't rolling since you took stoicism. What's rolling? I don't know what that means. That's hepatitis is not him. Also, the 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz is awesome. His name was Clitoris, I believe. Ah, yes, Clitoris. Yes. Yes. One of the best. One of the best. You missed the ban, you're late. It was on Twitch, bigly good. It was on Twitch. I don't know who took care of it. I think it was Blaze. Thank you, Blaze. Also, Blaze, thank you for the gifted sub. What the heck, my bro? Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you. I think somebody else subbed too. Somebody sub? I think somebody else subbed. Benito81, thanks for the sub, bro. I need cream? I don't think I need cream. Is my skin dry? If my skin is dry, I mean, between my eyebrows constantly gets dry. Also, if you look at my eyes get red all the time as well. Oh, somebody else got him? Somebody else got him? Okay. Well, I've modded you for the future, Blaze. I appreciate you, bro. With great power. You know, we got 100 people in the chat sometimes. You gotta be careful. So Blaze, yeah, watch out for this Muzz guy. I saw him making some comments, you know. Oh, 100% hero protagonist. Best friend of Biggest Dickus. Yeah. I watched Monty Python for the first time like 3 years ago. Saw it in theaters. Came back to my theaters. Okay. Oh, one of the biggest W's of 2026 thus far. Well, how sick is that? That was great. Oh, guys. I powered through that because I have a freaking terrible migraine. Oh, but I did say I was going to show my build, my wolf buildy. So we're gonna show off my wolf build in second wind. And then I will go eat my Chipotle, which I got. I got the protein packed bowl, 83 grams of protein. That's right, 83 grams, 2 things of chicken, light rice, cheese, lettuce, fajitas, and I think some sort of sauce, salsa. So I got that waiting for me. Yeah, Blaze, that's why the YouTube stream is the thumbnail is I am a new man, because 6 days, Blaze. 6 days she has slept and put herself to sleep. Hopefully she did it tonight too. I haven't heard anything from out there, so I assume she did it tonight. My wife had to put her to bed. Need to ask GGD when we can move the dang medallion so I can click on the drops behind it. It's like the Necropolis problem. Yeah, that was good. How much did I pay for that try? I think 12 bucks is the bowl. 12 bucks, dude. It's a good price. Oh no, I have to shovel too. Bro, I gotta eat before I shovel. You reminded me out of mana. Oh my gosh. Will I see out my window? It's dark outside. Yeah, I gotta go shovel. All right, you guys are about to see my crappy build. All right, you ready for the crappy build? Here we go. I think we've got like 7 inches so far that I haven't shoveled. All right, let's get myself here. All right, guys. I mean, it's not that crappy, but it's not the best. Okay, like my damage isn't there yet, and I haven't found a citadel. Which, by the way, my next video, guys, after the Zero video, which I'm going to upload the podcast, my next video is on endgame meta progression, Path of Exiles who quit moments, endgame meta progression. Oh, but I do have an Eye of the Storm almost ready. I have not found my first citadel. Very frustrating in second wind. But I do have this sick talisman. Look at this talisman, guys. Look at that. based, right? Quite crafting. Yeah, we could get a Rockiatas on this stream. Yeah, Shred is great. No, what I was saying to Z3r0, guys, I messaged Jonathan. He left me on red, by the way. But I said, bro, thank you for not cutting Wolf. Because Jonathan was like, he wanted to cut Wolf. Remember, guys? He was like, we're not going to make Wolf work. Jonathan? Jonathan. Come on. My man. I'm so glad they made Wolf work. Okay. All right. Let's showcase what it looks like. I'm going to show you guys my damage. I'm not confident enough to do 6 mod. I'm still doing 5 mod maps. Monster life, penetrated resistance, periodic. Okay, that has double damage mods on it. Let's not do that one. I'm so glad Jonathan was overruled and we got Wolf. Okay? Wolf is sick. Yeah, I'm happy it exists right now. Okay, what do we got? We got a Willow map. All right, guys, here we go. 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 I mean, it's just so satisfying, you know? Wait, do I have a Val Temple too? Oh, I have a Val Temple. Crap. 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 Nope, nope, nobody needs to donate channel points. You know, it's fine. I'm fine just doing 1 playthrough on hardcore. All good. Also, guys, I have become a dragging monsters out of the mist convert. I think that's a cool mechanic. Would anybody like to fight me in the chat? I feel like many of you would like to fight me in the chat over that. But I love that you have to drag out some of the monsters to get the Omens of Light and Abyssal Echoes. I think that's super cool. I know it works. I'm saying I like it. I like that there's this hidden little mechanic. And I bet there's more. I hope they do more of that in the future. That existed all league long. Oh, wow. I don't know what killed me. My wife walked in at that moment, and I looked over at her, and then something killed me. You guys know what killed me?
Ready.
Do you see what I'm saying about my damage not being there, guys? By the way? My wife's name is Skill Issue. Yeah, she's not the reason I died. My cat is meowing crazily. But do you guys see like how like cool it is? Just to have all these different abilities interacting. I think it's sick. It's very satisfying. Also, guys, I thought that Smith of Kitava would tank me up. I swear, guys. I'm not tanky at all. This doesn't even have any damage mods on it, guys. And did you see me get blown up? Like, I only have 1 life left.
A rarity, and all mine.
Did I not get these guys here? Yeah, I didn't. I do have to focus, otherwise I will die, guys. How much armor do I have? I have 15k base armor. And I have a good amount that's converting to Ellie. My gear isn't amazing as well, guys. Like I'm in blacksmith strong. Oh no, that one's not. That one's worthless. I'm in second wind, and I think my weapon is probably the best part of my gear set. And I'm not scaling crit. No. Should that be the path that I go? I'm Wolf. Did I miss the entrance, guys? Did I literally? No, it's right here. I didn't miss it. I should? Oh my god. Oh. I didn't know I should be scaling crit on Wolf. Like, look at my damage. Like, I actually have to do bosses. Isn't that crazy? What a crazy world we live in. Yeah, I know. It would have been... I went for an experiment with Smith of Kitava. I thought that it would be better defensively. I was so wrong, guys. I should have just gone Oracle. Like, Oracle Wolf, I bet, is just so superior with the crit stuff and the extra nodes. Whoa. But now I can say that I got a warrior all the way to endgame to kill the Arbiter of Ash, guys. Just don't ask me what skill I did. Your SSF Smith is basically unkillable. I'm sure that I could do a better job scaling with the tree and stuff in my gear. 5 to 10 second bosses. Did I was that only a 10-second boss fight? Felt longer. Zero just linked me the Daily Stoic. I kid you not, you guys. I just subbed to the Daily Stoic at the gym today. That is hilarious that he linked me that. Let's go take a look at my terrible temple, guys. That is hilarious. Oh my gosh. Alright. Alright, let's see. You think any streamer that uses Lunar Blessing IRL should go AWU? And realize, oh, we got an Zeri. You guys want to see? Oh, I have to Royal Chamber first. Alright, let's see. Can I get to the Royal Chamber, guys? Let's see. I still don't know how to 100% connect. Oh. No. 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 I'm not running it right now. Oh, wait. Was that a +1 medallion? Oh. Yeah, I'm going to use that one. I think Jazz is the big howler. Okay. I don't know. Brother, are you in chat right now? Are you watching? Are you watching me right now? I think the interview went awesome. I think it was a really good one. Healthy debate, lots of agreement, very calm, mild-mannered. It was awesome. Okay. I don't know if you're still in the chat now, bro. Okay. Okay, if I'm correct... Wow, there's another Eye of the Storm right there. Holy crap. Okay, we're going to see if we can get a Rockiatas. So we're going to do Crimson Shores with this double damage mod map, and we're totally going to clear it, guys, okay? Okay. My damage is fine for Smith of Kitava. Oh, well, thank you. Guys, I'm totally going to get one shot. Something's going to one-shot me. This is double damage on this map. And then I have to go shovel and eat after we get my Rockiatas. Okay, guys? Agree? Agree. Okay. Oh, no. No, 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 no. I just got heavy stun. Yeah, I'm shoveling food and I'm shoveling snow. Yeah, dude, Blaze, it's so much snow, dude. It's kind of ridiculous. I have to snow, otherwise it's gonna get out of control. Blaze, does that private league start tomorrow or is it Friday? I think it's Friday, right? Oh, sick. Nice tank. Friday? Okay. Yep, I have a pod with Farham on Friday night, so I'll be playing it Friday on launch day. See how far I can get. Electric snow shovel. That's a thing? Do you mean a snow blower or like a legit shovel? Oh, here we go. We got the Abyss guys. Also, my friend convinced me to add mana remnants to this build. Smartest thing I've done. And it was not my idea. Thank you, Andrew, if you're watching. Why isn't this Abyss spawning? Did I miss a monster? Have you guys had this where Abyss bugs out and they don't spawn monsters? It's very sad when this happens. I've had this happen quite a bit. Specifically in second wind, so I'm wondering if it has something to do with, like, I'm killing like frozen enemies and they're shattering? But... did this... what the heck? Why did I do so much damage? The modifiers on this map must have been different. I think the other guy had Elirez. A lot of times it's buried enemies that he didn't aggro. Okay, well, I'm going to try it. Maybe it's a Scorpion? Maybe there's a Scorpion over here? Is it this guy? These guys? Nope, I don't see any. Maybe over here? What the? This is a different Abyss. Oh, it's a different Abyss. What the? Are they all bugged? What is this poo-poo? GGG. Where are my... that guy? Are you kidding me? Oh, okay, get me out of this map. Get me out of this map, guys. All right. I'm out of this map. Come on, GGG. You played Minions for the first time, Blaze? How'd it go? How'd it go? Excellent, am I right? All right. We're gonna triple G. People, oh, wait, what? Aw, I thought it was showing all the maps that I had to do. I have to do more maps? Okay, well, gotta do this map. No, that's it. That's it, dudes. Everybody, I gotta go. Be responsible. Shovel and eat food. So seriously, guys, everybody on YouTube, as always, and Twitch, thank you for watching so much. Super grateful that you're all here tonight and you watched the interview with Z3r0. Make sure to like the live stream on YouTube. Leave a comment too if you're watching the VOD right now. How did you think it went? Did you think the discussion was productive? I thought it was. And that was how I thought the video would go over. But I have learned for the future. I'm gonna package it in a better way because that's what I can control, okay? So yeah, fun stream, guys. Actually streamed longer than I thought I would. So I will be back Friday night for an interview with Farum. And then next Monday, guys, we finally have rescheduled X the Farmer X on the pod. My friends are watching a lot of him. They say, I don't watch a ton of streams. They say he is a true degen. They say he loves his chat. They say he makes a lot of funny jokes. So it should be a good one. Farmer is blowing up on freaking YouTube. His stream is also popping off. So that's going to be a really fun one. Thanks, Chuckles. Thanks, Blaze. See you, TJ. See you, Weldo. See you, Khan. Yeah, maybe I'll watch something too, but I gotta go shovel. I gotta eat. I'm so hungry. Oh, I'm gonna ravage that freaking chicken. Okay, do we have anybody on the Twitch? Let me see. Let's see. They say you can still hear Farmer after you visit a stream. I do not doubt it. We are going to raid. We've got Prada on. We've got Prada. So what are we doing? We are going to raid the most humble of streamers, the Gigached, the hulking monstrosity of a human. I guess we're raiding the hulking monstrosity of a human. All right, you guys, have a good night. I will see you later. Stay sane. All right, bye-bye. Stay positive. Oh, raid in. All right, raid in. Let's go. Oh, gotta end this stream too. Peace, guys. See ya.